Hello.
Hi.
Kyle, who the fuck did we just let into the studio?
The
That's
Gusic,
pretty loud.
the Gusic bot.
Oh my god. Kyle,
What?
Kyle, a Malkavian got in.
What are you talking about?
That fucking Malkavian in the corner, do you not see him?
Are you talking to Lieutenant Sec?
The Malk? Yes.
Hey,
This-
what's up?
This is a disaster.
What are you talking about?
We were supposed to do the Nosferatu episode, and now Malkavian is in the studio. Oh,
Bro, I just work
oh.
here.
Oh,
Plus 10.
fuck.
21?
You
Alright.
stupid.
Well,
What's the plus 10?
oh yeah, yes.
21?
Keep
Actually, it's
keep it
19.
preoccupied like that. Keep it preoccupied like that. I'm gonna get my shotgun.
Oh, okay.
Alright,
I don't
alright,
think you can
shotgun.
kill a Malkavian with a shotgun. It takes at least 2 totems and 5 Garrow to do it.
No, you gotta get like that 16-barrel shotgun from Modded Doom and then just go yeet out to the stratosphere, bro. Like, I'm telling you, man. No, get a 69-barrel shotgun because 69's a funny number. Actually, on second thought, do 420 because Hitler was actually born on 420. Which is a really weird fact that I know. I do not know why.
If you read the Bible, this is what it says. Basically, space aliens coming from outer space, giving birth to our dictators. I mean, you're seeing it around the world. You're seeing all these different leaders get killed in the streets. We're living in the end times. This is so sad. Alexa, play Sending the Clowns by Frank Sinatra.
I don't know. I never heard that song.
See, listen here, Kyle. It's me, your friend Robert F. Kennedy. Listen, I brought this Malkavian into the studio. Everything he says is correct. He knows about what's going on with the world around us. You have to listen to the clan, Kyle. It's the only way you're going to be able to save yourself and prevent the apocalypse.
We already prevented the apocalypse.
Can I bring up my 16 pairs of
We
glasses
prevented
while I'm at it?
one
Mr. Rosenberg,
apocalypse.
you need an examination.
Well, yeah, but
Okay,
you
I'll
know
put
what?
24 of my pairs of shoes.
Yeah, this is the episode we're doing, folks.
This is a terrible introduction. We're gonna keep all this.
You're goddamn right we are.
All right, we're doing the Malkavians today. If you could please pull up the cereal box.
Yes, absolutely.
That's if it renders.
Yeah. So
Yep.
inside of every box of Captain Crunch, there's a copy of Clan Malkavian. Go out and get yours today.
Yes.
Only for $5.99. And
Go
your
ahead.
soul.
Remember
And
to
also
keep
your
the box
psyche.
top. Goes to education.
I kind
Miss
of
me
want
with
to go
that
get
worm
some
food.
cereal now. I haven't had cereal since I went to college in Florida.
And we got you have
I
a
love
cereal
cereal.
with us.
I got a Coca-Cola.
And
Expert.
Ryan, put that microphone all right up. Put your voice up on the screen.
Hello, my name is Ryan, and I got a new mic.
There it is.
Hey.
My man's
This
got
is the
himself a
same line as
Yeti. That shit
before.
is crispy, bro.
Same run as before. You want to know what else is crispy? There we go.
Oh,
Creams?
Is that a
donut?
Mountain Dew?
Krispy Kreme?
No, it's holy fuck! I can smell this already. This is what brand am I looking at? It is Passion Fruit Orange Guava IPA.
What the
I got
hell
H2O.
is that?
It's
That's a
like
lot of
craft
fruit.
beer. I told you I got a little Easter basket filled with beer, and this is one of the IPAs in it. It's all IPA and stout.
I mean, stouts are good. IPAs are hit and miss.
Yeah. And I've got this moon pie with me to chase the taste down. Let's get this moon pie open too. Let's do like a little ASMR video. Let me get this wrapper wrapped to the microphone.
Oh, no, don't.
Alright.
This episode's gonna be a fucking mess. John's gonna be
I'll-
drunkenly eating a moon pie, like trying to talk
There we
through
go.
the marshmallow to explain Malkavian history.
I'm going to do what Billy the Kid did in Green Mile and spit all out to the camera. How do you do? Alright, let's taste it. Let's see what this does.
Well, moon
Marble
pies are
Dew.
delicious.
Okay. Alright, that's better. That's better. Okay.
What, the beer?
Yeah, it's better. Yeah, it's better. Mmm. Okay.
What happened to
I-
all that sweet fruit that you had in there?
You put 3 different fruits here, and I can't taste any of them.
Well, yeah, because it's
This-
all hops.
This is not a
Yep.
Celsius. I was expecting a taste of a Celsius. This is not a Celsius.
Oops, all hops.
Alright. let's get to the episode. We're doing Clan Malkavian, if you couldn't tell already.
Yes.
All right.
I hope so.
And-
That introduction.
All right. And what's the first? How do all these vampire clans begin?
With God.
By God cursing Cain to never die and become the first vampire, and then he has kids, and then those kids make the first city, and behold, we have a man, and his name is Malkav. And if you watched our live play, he was the main villain of that live play. It was very fun to play as Malkav. I had a great time running that character.
Yeah, he
It's
is beat.
because you look at his story, you look at his lore, and he's such an interesting character because you don't know what this guy's angle is supposed to be. I mean, like, what the fuck is this guy's deal? Let me just go ahead and let me just post the asset in full in studio notes. Yeah, here you go. This is the asset that we used for Malkav. I took a portrait of, I don't remember who the lore character is in Dark Ages. I colorized it, ran it through an algorithm, and then we got this. And that's what I used for him because, you know, the mad clown felt fitting for Malkav.
POV, you're about to be sold cocaine at the circus bathroom in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Sign me up.
As we remember from Clan Toreador, Malkav was the twin brother of one Arakil, the Toreador antediluvian. And Arakil's whole shtick was that she was just too pretty to die, or for anybody to let her die. Malkav actually had some use in the first city. He was a guy where... You remember the story of Joseph and the coat of many colors? Do you remember this?
That I do not know.
You are the Jewish guy, and you don't remember the story?
I do not. Look, Jewish I may be, but well-versed in faith I am not.
You need to go to the temple sometimes, because I know this story.
I do.
It's Jacob, and he's got the 12 sons, and Joseph is the guy who has the prophetic dreams, and he's able to see the future in his dreams, and he's able to predict that one day he'll be ruling above his brothers. They throw him out, they throw him into slavery. He ends up getting bought by this guy called Potiphar. He's doing well until Potiphar's wife sexually harasses him. He goes to prison for a crime he didn't commit, only to have a prophetic dream, share that dream with the vizier. The vizier appoints him to an officer position, and then eventually, thanks to his foresight, he eventually does become a king in Egypt. Well, not really a king, a prince in Egypt. And then so on and so forth, the story goes until you get to the book of Exodus. But Malkav had the same power as Joseph before Joseph was born. He was able to see the future in his sleep. And similar to the story of Joseph, King Enoch looked at him and said, "We need this guy in a leadership position. He can see the future. He's got all the great ideas. He's got all the good ideas. We need this dude in the kingdom." He would come in. They would ask him, "Malkav, what did you see? What did you see that night?" Oh, he would give out his dream. They would make policy and make decisions according to the dream. And with that, the first city was able to be the first city. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. And then came the smiting and the Noah's Ark and the Great Flood. And then we had to make another city. But Enoch looked over and said, "I will be the one to embrace Malkav. He's too important to the kingdom to let die. We need him to be around here forever." Now, some people say Irad the Strong was the guy who embraced him. Some say it was Zilla who embraced him. I don't really believe in either of those. When you look at Zilla, her wheelhouse is, say, Obfuscate. And the Malkavians do have Obfuscate, but I'm looking at the Auspex. The Malkavians are known more for having Auspex than Obfuscate. A lot of Enoch-sired vampires have Auspex. So I'm more inclined to believe that Enoch was the guy who sired Malkav. And if he's directly answering to the king, I don't see why the king got his brother or his sister to, embrace his oracle. That just doesn't make sense to me. And we know what happens after this point, right? We've done the Setites, we've done the Salubri, we know who he talks to by this point. He is conversing with Kyle. Say the name. Say the name, Kyle. Set, and who else?
Salat.
Yes. Salat, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
It's the three amigos. As it turns out, all of them get along very well. This is before Malkav gets demented. And it's the three of them all talking with each other. They all have great ideas. They'd all, like the whole like Kingdom Hearts scene, they'd like all sit on top of the clock tower and eat ice cream because they definitely had that back then. And Set would say, you know, my granddad sucks, my dad sucks, my brother sucks, I hate my life, I wish I was king. And it all pat Set on the shoulder saying, it's okay, you got us, you got friends. And then Salat would talk about the idea he had that day, and then Malkav would talk about his dream, and the three of them bonded, and it was a beautiful friendship. And then Malkav said something to Cain. Now, what exactly he said, we don't know. It was either something in relation to, oh, how are you the top vampire, and yet your son is ruling the city and doing a better job than you ever could, or he said something to Cain about Abel, or something that absolutely pissed off Cain. Something was said to him. Cain responds by grabbing Malkav by his throat, lifting him into the air, and then showing him a vision that drove him insane. More than likely, it was a vision of the afterlife. Either heaven or hell was shown to Malkav. And getting to see that with unfiltered eyes. And Malkav, knowing that he's the third generation vampire, knowing that he will never see what's on the other side, and that his existence is going to be erasure upon his final death, he goes insane from what he sees. Cain shows him a little bit too much. And the friendship dynamic changes after that. Malkav is now the one who needs support. Set and Salat are holding him by the shoulders, telling him, get a grip, dude, get a grip, it's gonna be okay, stop being crazy, just think for a second, dude, just try to relax. And Malkav becomes a dependent one. And eventually, thanks to Salat's help, Salat's using the very, very early version of Valorant that he would eventually perfect later down the line, he ends up calming Malkav's mind for short periods of time, to where Malkav is able to hold a stable conversation for a change. And thanks to that, Malkav clings to Salat after that happens. It's that wherever Malkav goes, he wants Salat to be there with him. That's why when we did the Salubri history, Malkav's name came up so much in that history because Malkav refused to leave Salat alone. I mean, Salat's daily routine would be wake up to the sound of Malkav knocking on my door, and then I would open the door, and then Malkav just moves into my house, and then I just spend the entire day with Malkav. That's how the relationship looked like.
Bit toxic, isn't it?
A little bit. I mean, you need this guy to survive. Cain drove you insane. You don't know how to respond to being sane. But at the same time, you had a twin sister that you could have been talking to. That you just treated like chopped liver. I mean, most beautiful woman in the world. Malkav doesn't even talk to her. Doesn't even call her anymore. Doesn't even call her just to see how she's doing. To him now, he doesn't even have a twin sister. Erikel doesn't even exist to Malkav anymore. And we did the Galliard group Playhouse in the Setite video. It is around this time that Malkav and Set have the debate. You remember this, right?
Yes, the idea of truth, as it is.
Yeah, Malkav is hanging out with Set for a change. And it's around this time that Set's beginning his ambition. He's beginning the murder plot to eventually kill Osiris once Ra finally dies and he can take the throne. And he has a debate with Malkav. He springs to question, where does truth come from? And to Set, he says that truth comes from within. You just recognize it for yourself what's true. Your brain already knows what the truth is, and you recognize truth when you see it. Malkav's reply is, dog, I'm insane. I have the power to make other people insane. there's no way that's right. Truth comes from outside forces, where nature itself created the truth, and there's universal natural laws that cannot be changed no matter how hard you try. That's what the truth is. And Set refuses to change his opinion, Malkav refuses to change. So they go over to Solot and say, okay, you're the third person here. Who's right? Is it me, or is it Set who's right? And Solot says, you both have good opinions. Solot is more of the opinion that truth comes from God, but he's not going to say that out loud. He says, I'm going to go off to China to deal with my sorrows of creating the Bali. While I'm in China, maybe I'll come back with the answer. You guys just stay put, I'll come back with the answer. And Solot never gets back to meeting Malkav again. I mean, we said in the Salubri episode that Solot did talk with Malkav. That was either a fuck up on my part, or the Salubri book kind of changed turn of events. I could be fucking up. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about that. But pretty much friendship over with Solot because he just left your life and he's not coming back. And instead of Solot, Malkav clings to Set every day. And the entirety of the Setite clan book, Ancient History happens. Malkav is next to Set the entire time. He's there watching the whole thing happen, and more than likely had a hand in Set's rise to power. And he knew what this kingdom was going to look like. He's the guy with the prophetic visions and dreams. He knew what Set was going to do, and he was perfectly okay with it. So, you know, marrying your sister, the inbreeding, chopping up your brother into 13 pieces and throwing them into the ocean, sexually abusing your nephew. Malkav knew all of it, and he was just perfectly okay with it.
I mean, he was quite literally insane. I wouldn't hold him to much a standard then.
Yeah, he's operating on a different plane of morality.
Bro, that motherfucker on a different plane of existence.
And it's around this time that Set takes power. He looks over at Malkav and says, come to think of it, you know those other guys? I'm not satisfied with my murder boner. The second generation. Let's go after them next. Malkav says, can do. And the two of them head over, and it turns out some other members of the second generation were already thinking this. Time to kill the second generation. Where if Cain didn't hate Malkav before, now he really does. Because when Cain devises the curses, the Malkavians get slapped with the nastiest one. Now, you had Methuselahs, you had elders. And Malkav sired a lot of people. A lot of people. Anywhere between 8 to 36 people were sired directly by Malkav. That's a lot of Methuselahs, dude.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, in terms of demographics, the Toreador and the Bruja are the most numerous because they don't have any chill when it comes to embracing. More than likely, in demographics, Malkavians are the third most numerous of all the vampires. Just because of how many people Malkav sired back in his day. And it was after the killing of the second generation that Cain curses the Malkavians. That, the insanity that I gave Malkav, now all of you have it. And that results in the complete collapse of the Malkavians, where they all scatter across the world, and Malkav wonders, well, where did all my vampires go? Well, I'm all alone now, let me just go over and see what Set's doing again. And then on his way over to Set's house, he is jumped and he is killed. We don't exactly know what killed him. It wasn't the werewolves. The werewolves would have taken credit for that. It wasn't the mages. So I'm inclined to believe that the only other group that could do this were the imbued, the Hunter the Reckoning Hunters. That's the only thing I can think of that killed Malkav. But Malkav's okay with it, and you want to know why? It's because with this guy's knowledge of everything, he learned how to control his own quantum state. Did any of you watch Hellsing? The anime Hellsing?
I did not.
Original
I
or
can't say that I have.
ultimate?
Either one.
Both.
So you remember Schrodinger, right?
Yep.
Right. He basically can do what Schrödinger does. Malkav found a way for him to paradoxically exist and not exist at the same time. So when he dies, only the physical body dies. Malkav finds a loophole. His mind and what's left of the soul, persist and become the Malkavian Madness Network, known to the Malkavians as the Cobweb. Those voices you hear, those visions of the future that you see, the knowledge of the past that you get when you play as a Malkavian, that is Malkav directly talking to you and talking through you. Out of all the Antediluvians, this is the one and only guy who never went into torpor. He's still around, he's still alive, and he's been directly influencing the events of Vampire the Masquerade since the beginning. So, any event that has happened in Vampire, he's witnessed it, he's seen it, he's had the power to change it, he either has changed it or he let it play out the way it was supposed to. So, if you're thinking that Zenitsu is overpowered, Malkav never lost control. He's still around and he's just as powerful as Zenitsu by this point. Just in terms of raw knowledge about what Malkav can do. He probably has a plan to defeat Zenitsu, we just don't know it yet. So that's the level of power and omniscience we're talking about with Malkav.
So you mean to tell me our werewolf game changed nothing?
Exactly. In our werewolf game, Malkav's defeat, you had to break the fourth wall as players to do so. But Malkav only stopped that plan because he realized the ritual he was casting wasn't going to work and just quit the plan. So,
okay, cool. We did win.
Yeah, he's still around. He just gave up on New York. That's what it was. He just decided it wasn't worth his time anymore.
That's some bullshit. That is some grade A bullshit.
It's an antediluvian, dude. You can't kill this thing.
Hey, look, at the very least, we did prevent Gehenna. So, all's good gravy.
Today.
And we got fuckloads of renown from it.
You prevented it today.
Hey, every day's a good day. We're still breathing.
And behold, the themes of Werewolf the Apocalypse perfectly summarized. And Malkav thinks, well, now it's going to be very hard for me to call Set. I'm just going to go over see what he's doing. So Malkav is just floating over Set during his entirety in Egypt. And he's there, he's witnessing the entirety of the Setite history play out. He knows about the Silent Striders. He knows about Isis. He knows about the Puka. He lets it happen to teach Set a lesson in humility. Saying, oh, I thought you were smart, but you're kind of losing me with your God complex, dude. Let me set up your failure just to teach you a lesson in humility. Behold, the one thing that can stop an antediluvian is another antediluvian. That's how it happens. And Malkav is just watching all this happen, and he's looking at his followers, and he says, let me take a less active role. Let me just sit back in my realm between realms and just watch all this play out. And he has many, many sons. Like one Nisiku, the clever prince, where in terms of Malkav powers, that's the closest guy out there that matches Malkav in power. Where during his embrace, Malkav showed Nisiku a little too much about what he knew, which drove Nisiku insane, but he knows just as much as Malkav does. And he's still around. He's walking around on the earth as we speak.
He's chilling out in Chico Largo's head.
Along with that, we have the Plague Mother, where take a wild guess as to what she does.
She gives birth to plagues.
Nah.
Kind of stepping on the toes of the Bali, don't you think?
Or the Bali and the Ratkin.
You also had... Who else is out there? The Eater. Just the Eater, that's what he's called.
As in of souls?
Guess what he does? Yeah. Well, more so the Eater of people. I mean, this dude's fucking forever, and he'll eat stuff, and the stuff that he eats is erased from existence after he does so.
Oh.
So basically, Denji from Chainsaw Man.
Yep.
Oh wait, does Denji do that really?
You haven't seen him do that in the anime yet.
I don't think I have. No.
Yeah. So you're clap your big baby feet together when you see him do that.
I know he fucking like drinks blood to maintain his form in one of the episodes when there's like a giant mass under the facility.
Yeah. You also have the Anku, where Behold is the scariest vampire in all of Vampire the Masquerade. So you have seen Nightmare on Elm Street, right?
I have, yes.
Hello, bitch.
Right.
Bitch.
So here's his picture.
Man.
And yeah, imagine waking up and seeing this. Behold. So that's a guy who can invade your dreams because, he's a Malkavian. He knows how to do it. And the thing is, when you wake up, he's still there. Waking up doesn't save you. So if this guy appears in your dreams, you lose every time. There's no saving you from that.
That's terribly scuffed.
There's also one other Malkavian. The name is sitting on the tip of my tongue. It's biblical. Who was the father of Ruth from the Bible? It's either the father or the son. I
couldn't tell you.
It's essentially the dude is Cain number 2, where he lived very similar circumstances to Cain, where he made one mistake, his entire family got destroyed, and then Malkav, just to make his suffering worse, embraced him because he thought it was going to be funny. And then he gets up and he says, "Lord my God, why have you forsaken me? I am worm. I'm less than man. They spit on me. They hate me. I am so horribly miserable." I found his name, Elimelech. That's his name. Yeah, Elimelech from the tribe of Judah. That's who he was. He was the husband of Naomi. That's what he was. Okay, yeah. Okay, I know who this guy is now. And it goes off the whole generation of the biblical story where he says, "My generation has been cursed. What have I done?" To summarize the story short. And the thing is, this dude, not only is he still alive, he's running the Sabbat. He's one of the 4 leaders of the Sabbat.
Really?
Wonderful, right? Yes.
Well, I mean, given what Malkav did to him, I feel like he has every reason to.
Yeah, he hates.
I agree.
He hates Malkav. He hates the Antediluvians, and he's trying to lead the army that will eventually one day save the world from Gehenna. But that's not gonna happen. The Sabbat's in complete shambles. It's not gonna happen.
Doesn't help they literally have, the game ender, the elder, in their ranks.
Exactly.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
You played yourself. The game was rigged from the start. The Sabbat mission was destined to fail from the beginning. That's why I like the Sabbat so much, is that you're in a holy army that's destined to lose. But seeing what kind of stories you could write with the Sabbat, that's why I like the Sabbat so much.
Again, like we said, any day that we're still alive and breathing in the world of darkness is a good day.
Mm. Take a bite of this moon pie. Mm.
Mouthful of marshmallow.
Nasty.
What?
This beer is nasty, but we'll keep drinking it.
What? Otter hates watermelon, continues to eat watermelon.
I did not mean to open Steam. Fuck. I did not mean to open this. Shit. Quit Steam. Do not open it.
Speaking of Steam, I gotta tell you about a game that I bought later, and it's fucking awesome.
It's Helldivers. You told me about it already.
No, I have Helldivers.
I need to play it.
I have it, but I'm having a little bit of trouble with it.
So
yeah, Helldivers is a hard game to play.
It's fun.
It's not that it's a hard game to play, it's that, it doesn't like Linux or multitasking.
Yeah, everyone who's listening to this episode right now, open up Helldivers and play Helldivers while listening to this.
Not sponsored, by the way.
There we
Not
go.
Sponsored.
And we will accept no money. So, what happens next? Ancient Greece, Kyle. Ancient Greece. And keep in mind, the Malkavians are going to play second fiddle for the rest of history. At no point is a project spearheaded by them. They always play number two to someone else's schemes. So they're in Greece, and they're looking over, and the Ventru have Sparta, the Bruja have Rome, not Rome, Athens. And let's watch these two play it out. Let's see who plays it out. The Bruja win. All right, let's go to Athens. So they all pack up, go to Athens, and they think, hold on a minute, where should we live? Because Jerusalem's over there. And they look and say, here, you go this way, we'll go that way. We'll circle the entire Mediterranean Ocean, and we'll make that our territory. So behold, the exact same territory of the Cappadocians is the territory of the Malkavians. They're pretty much sharing cities with each other. And where is the massive hub of Malkavians? Jerusalem, of all places. The Holy Land. They... Not in Jerusalem itself, because that's one of the 3 cities on the planet where vampires just flat out cannot enter it, but around Jerusalem is where they are. And what does this mean? It means that a lot of Jews have Malkavians in them. A lot of Jewish communities. So if you want to play a Semitic vampire, this is the one you go for.
Yo, it's not my fault if a character. It's the fact that goddamn fucking Malkavian decided to stick his fangs in my neck. It gave me the worst headache I ever had in my life.
Oh, heavenly God, it wasn't my fault, okay?
Pull a picture of the Woody Allen vampire.
The Woody Allen vampire? Hold up. Is
The
that a
Woody
thing?
Allen vampire.
I don't think...
I hope it is.
I don't think
let's see.
that
I'm
happened, but I'll look for it.
I'm
Hang on.
going to Google search Woody Allen vampire. We'll see what I get.
Woody Allen.
Woody Allen's contract. Nah, it's not him. Damn it.
Ah, damn.
Dang it.
Well,
Would have been funny, though.
Well, somebody go to Photoshop and make the Woody Allen vampire.
Woody Allen directed a vampire comedy, but doesn't say anything else.
But he was not the vampire himself.
He was not.
And it's around this time that when Athens eventually loses its luster, it gets everything stolen from it by the Ventru in Rome. So the Malkavians say, "Oh, Rome! All right, this is pretty cool." So they all pack up their bags and go to Rome. And the Ventru say, "Hey, who invited you? You're not invited here." And the Malkavians have already set up their houses and are already seated at the dinner table, asking, "What's the meal for tonight?" And the Ventru are looking over at the Toreadors saying, "Can you please help me kick these guys out?" But the Toreadors say, "Hold on a minute. These guys can be smart sometimes." But the Ventru are saying, "Well, how? They're all schizophrenic." And they say, "No, hold on a minute. They're oracles. They can see the future." And the Ventru say, "Really?" So they bring in the Malkavians, and they have them be advisors. They're all in the shadows, as vampires are. But no Malkavian is credited in Roman history around this time. And the Malkavians are making all these great foresight decisions that are helping Rome grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and become the massive empire it was. And there's one thing standing in the way. Carthage. Where the Malkavians were looking at it, saying, "Hey, the Bruja are here, that's pretty cool. Oh, is that Clan Malkavian? Never mind, we're going to leave Carthage en masse." And when the Ventru got sick to damn death of Carthage and said it's time to kill Carthage, the Malkavians said, hang on a minute. You need a plan. We have an entire strategy already set up for you. They pull out the massive map of Carthage. They already have the entire strategy planned out, and the Ventru say, "Hey, that's a good idea." And so they steal the Malkavians' plan and do that exact battle plan, and it goes perfectly, and they're able to level Carthage, and behold, Rome is now the one and only empire in Europe. Thank you, Malkavians, very cool. It's thanks to this that the Ventru, against better judgment, start giving the Malkavians authority positions in Rome, and then they proceed to run Rome straight into the ground. We have one Malkavian in here whose name is currently escaping my mind, but she made a pact with the Black Spiral Dancers dude and invited them into Rome.
Yeah, how do you think that went?
How do you think it was that Rome got corrupted by the worm, and it's the Malkavians' fault that it happened? So, behold, the entirety of Rome gets dragged down into the mud, thanks to one stupid decision. And behold, the Malkavians, they create the path of evil revelations during this time. You know, Nefandi type shit. And the most degenerate shit you can think of, the Malkavians start doing. They're outdoing the Setites in terms of crimes against humanity, dude. And they appoint Caligula and Nero during their reigns. And you know how bad those two were. Caligula had his dick out and he was masturbating in the middle of gladiator fights. And then the less said about what a psychopath Nero was, the better.
I do know he fiddled while Rome burned.
Exactly. And when Rome burned, by this time the Ventru were so sick to damn death of Malkavians that they just packed up and left with their little agreement they made with the Shao Lords under the table, saying, we'll set up a little trail for you to Constantinople. We'll keep you safe while us and the Galfenris attack from the north. And the Toreador already saw the writing on the wall and got out of there. The Malkavians stayed. They didn't want to live a life that wasn't Roman debauchery, and gladly died at the hands of the Galfenris. And it was a death they 100% deserved. And it's around this time that in Constantinople, the Ventru are safe. Okay, the Toreador here. Okay, good. Come in, close the door behind you. What the fuck happened with Rome? And the Toreador said, I'm sorry, it's our fault. We let the Malkavians in. We thought it was a good idea. We could have had a longer empire in the long run had we never invited them in, and we just did Carthage ourselves. And the Ventru say, somebody's got to pay for this. It's not us. We didn't do anything wrong. It's the Malkavians that have to pay for it. So they put out a warning. A Surgeon General warning on the Malkavians. It is never, under any circumstances, let a Malkavian into any authority position. That is the order that is made. And behold, they are blacklisted. No Malkavian is a prince, seneschal, justicar, templar, bishop, baron, anything during this time. Everyone does everything they can to keep them out of power. And when the caste system comes out for vampires, the high clans and the low clans, the Ventru and Toreador do this massive AstroTurf campaign to make sure that the Malkavians are at the very bottom of the caste system in the low clans. Do not give these guys shit, is the order. So, it's debatable as to who had it worse during this time, the Nosferatu or the Malkavians. Where you know it's bad when the Cappadocians are getting more respect than you.
Yeah, and the Cappadocians are fugly looking.
Yeah, they're weird. They're just weird. And not even a funny cartoon sitcom kind of way. They're just weird.
Yes.
And eventually, Malkav, watching this in the shadows, says, okay, my clan is sucking at the moment. Let me start giving them, something to make progress with. So they're predicting all this stuff that's going on along in the Dark Ages, saying, hey, you better clean up London. You're going to cause a plague. Nobody listens to them. The Black Plague happens. Oh, you better do something about those wizards off in the distance. They're going to do something terrible later down the line. Nobody listens. Boom. Sioris and Tremere's history begins. And they're making all these predictions that turn out right. Nobody listens to them. And when the Crusades eventually come around, the Assamites run up to them and scream at them for them to get out of their house, kick all the Malkavians out of Jerusalem, causing, all the anti-Semitic history that we see, where you have all the Jews in Europe that nobody wants to deal with, so we give them the shitty jobs and then oppress them, just because it's a group that nobody really cares about. Wonderful, right? And those Jewish people, a lot of them are Malkavian around this time if they're a vampire. And Eventually, thanks to, I don't know, being in positions of power where, well, back in medieval Europe, you controlled the money, along with having all this different access to information. You have Malkav in the sky feeding you information. Eventually, the Toreador and the Ventrue turn around on their decision and say, hang on a minute, these two guys, this clan is doing very well. They're doing W after W. We could have avoided a ton of issues had we listened to them. And then around the 13th century, that ban is finally lifted, and now Malkavians are allowed to actually hold positions of authority again. Thanks to, say, 1,000 years of good behavior. And
they got paroled, basically.
And what happens next? Anarch Revolt happens next. You know the Anarch Revolt, right? Where
basically the Brujah said, fuck this.
Yeah, that all the Brujah said, stick it to the man. You can't tell me what to do anymore, old man. And then that inspired the Zimichi and the Lasombra and everyone else to do the same thing. And behold, there was already the Jihad, but now it's even worse. And the Malkavians are looking at this and say, hey, this is going to blow up in your face, right? That's going to cause an Inquisition to happen. Nobody listens to Malkavians, and look what happened, the Inquisition. If only we listened to the Malkavians. Wow. What a story. So, when the Inquisition happens, that's the Malkavians' time to shine. They become these massive information brokers where in desperate times you will cling to anybody who's trying to help you. The Malkavians say, don't talk to that man. Don't sleep there. Don't embrace that person. Don't talk to that person. Don't walk down that street. Start giving all this advice as to how to avoid final death. Every vampire is listening to the Malkavians now. And thanks to the Malkavians, a lot of vampire lives were saved. Behold, the Inquisition could have been a whole lot worse had it not been for the Malkavians. Or, reverse, a whole lot better if it wasn't for the Malkavians. Perspective. And thanks to that wonderful job during the Inquisition, the Malkavians are accepted into the Convention of Thorns. They're given an invitation by Etrius, Hardstadt the Younger, and we talked about him in the Toreador episode. His name is slipping my mind. But they invite the Malkavians and say, you earned a place in the Camarilla. We're not even going to hold you up to vote. You're in. Come in with us. And behold, the Malkavians are now a part of the Camarilla. And you are now set for life. You'll never have to worry about anything ever again. And it's around this time that they meet, the Nosferatu? The clan Nosferatu. Where now you've got the double whammy. You've got the Nosferatu, who know everything that has ever happened in history, paired up with the Malkavians with their massive skill of foresight, and now nothing gets past Camarilla. Combine that with the impressive leadership of the Ventrue, the silver tongues of the Toreador, the muscle that is the Tremere, and the foot soldiers that are the Brujah, and then the Gangrel are there when they do stuff. Now you've got a faction of vampires that's completely untouchable. Compare that to the Sabbat, where that's the Lasombra and the Zimichi, and they're just floundering around because the Zimichi's a clan of dead weight that's dragging the Lasombra down.
Yep, basically. That's what happens when you have a faction that only wants to kill things.
It's also around this time that you have a lot of Malkavians move to India. Behold, do you want to know what kind of vampire clans in India? Not just the Ravnos, the Malkavians as well. So they all head on over to India and say, this place is pretty nice. There's a caste system here, and it's a horrible, horrible caste system, just like the one that we got out of. This is perfect cover. They infiltrate the Indian caste system and pretend to be untouchables, and behold, it's the perfect disguise. Nobody's going to suspect you as a vampire because nobody talks to you in the first place, which leads to the Malkavians thriving in India. The Ravnos wake up one day, and then behold, the city's filled with Malkavians, and are wondering, well, how did this happen? It's because you weren't paying attention. That's how it happened. It even go under the noses of the Kuei Jin. Like the Kuei Jin themselves still don't know how many Malkavians are in East Asia. Wonderful stuff, right?
A lot of them, I wager.
And you have one more thing happen. One more major event happen with the Malkavians around this time. The Great Prank is what it's called. This is an oxymoron. So the Ventrue are thinking to themselves, maybe it was a mistake to bring in the Malkavians, given what happened to Rome. We need a safety lock on the Malkavians. They go over to the elders of the Malkavians, and they say, look, we love you, we're big fans of you, you gotta lose demontation. You've gotta cut ties with demontation. We can't have you going around with that. And the Malkavians say, well, that's our identity. We can't not be demented. The Ventrue say, I don't care, you have to get rid of it, or we kick you out of the Camarilla. That's the ultimatum. So, shit, right? There are 6 different Methuselah around this time. These being Adamar, the Black Hag, Brood, the Dionysian. Somebody's stealing the identity of Bacchus with that one. Tryphosa, and one Unmada. Now, Unmada is fucking weird. You want me to show you how weird he is?
Yes.
Yes.
See,
Absolutely.
Show
Give
us.
it to us.
Absolutely. Copy that image. So here's what the fuck he looks like.
Hey, bro. I know a really good tattoo. I know a really good piercing artist.
This is.
I mean, if that's what he's into.
Does this look like a sane man to you?
He's a Malkavian.
Yes. This looks like the average Oregon resident. Like, seriously, bro. You can find these, like, at the back of your store, bro. This is normal.
It looks like Serge Tankian, but, you know, he got captured by Pinhead.
Exactly.
So, what these guys do is that they, copying Tremere research, find a way to cast a spell on their entire clan and get it reversed. And they do that with an event they call the Great Prank, where that's a big damn spell cast by 6 elders, 6 Methuselah, that removes dementation from their disciplines. Behold, every vampire that's embraced after the formation of the Camarilla no longer has dementation. They have dominate instead. So there you go. And with the loss of dementation, all of a sudden, it's like a magic pill. The madness is gone for the Malkavians. The newly embraced Malkavians around this time, they're not insane. They hear the voices, and they understand them. And it's the Mad Oracle without the mad part. And behold, now the clan's unstoppable. You see the past, present, future, and multiple realities at the same time with no downsides. It's beautiful. Granted, you do have a tendency, you do have a weak mental fortitude, thanks to the Curse of Cain, but besides that, there is no downside to being Malkavian around this time. And thanks to this, the Malkavians suffer no losses from this point forward. No losses to come their way. The Industrial Revolution, the Renaissance, Georgian England, Victorian England, the early formation of America, they're just fine. They're just doing what they want to do. They have the safety of the Camarilla. They can just do whatever the hell they want by this point, and it's fine. But here's the thing. If you were Malkavian anti-tribu, the spell did not affect you. And in fact, the dementation got worse for the anti-tribu Malkavians. This is what gave the clan their scary, scary-ass reputation, and what influenced most of the artwork that you see in, I don't know, Malkavian First Edition, where there's not even professional pictures in that book. They have stick figures and like children's desk drawings for the book instead.
This isn't good.
And it's wonderful, right? So, thanks to there being a lot of Malkavians in the Sabbat, it drags the Sabbat down, and behold, the faction is getting nothing done. great, right?
Just when they thought they had everything figured out.
And yeah, thanks to Malkav setting up that little ritual to go just right. Now the Camarilla is untouchable. Now you may be wondering, what is Malkav's opinion on the Camarilla? He's in favor of it. He likes it. He wants it to run just the way it is.
Well, I mean, he keeps all his people safe.
Yeah, him and Arakel, they're the #1 supporters of the Camarilla. I mean, Arakel wants to be the God Queen for the rest of her life and has no interest in ever coming back into flesh. And Malkav just wants to see his people make history every day. I mean, Malkav enjoys having that power. So, behold. There's nothing you can do. Clan Malkavian is too strong, right? It's almost like we need something really, really bad to happen to this clan to balance it out.
I don't think something is, but go off.
Well, no. Here's the last bit of history we talk about. 1997, one of the many, many signs of Gehenna coming your way. All of a sudden, the great prank wears off, and demontation returns to the clan. A vampire is embraced in 1997, and behold, he has demontation instead of dominate. And they're trying to figure out, well, how did this happen? And there is no explanation. They're trying to use their future sight. They're trying to figure out how this happened. They can't figure it out. And now we're in trouble, right? Because now the horrible, horrible insanity is coming back to the clan. We're becoming a little less reliable. And with the newly embraced Malkavians, they're not prepared to have demontation. They don't know how to responsibly use it because the elders haven't needed to use it in years. And the guys that embrace them that had dominate have no experience with demontation whatsoever. So now we've got a clan that's in severe jeopardy. And to make things even worse, the Wicked Nightmares happens. Wonderful.
The turn of the
So
millennium.
they can see not just the Malkavians in India. Every Malkavian sees the Wicked Nightmares happen in real time. They see Ravnos rip himself out of the ground and go to war with the Quajian and the Technocracy. They see the whole thing happen, and they are convinced that Ravnos is still alive. There's no way Ravnos is dead to the Malkavians. So all of them are on high alert by this point. Every Malkavian believes in Gehenna. Even if you have no concept as to what Gehenna is, as a Malkavian, you know about it. And everyone in the Camarilla, is a staunch Antediluvian denier. They're telling the Malkavians to shut the fuck up about this. They refuse to. They keep talking about Gehenna, 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 Gehenna. And now it's getting to the point where the Ventru and the Toreador are getting pretty sick of them. I mean, we don't need anybody giving spooky talk right now with the Second Inquisition around the corner. And that's where we're left off with the Malkavians. Nothing really happens with them in 5th edition, because, just the 518 was just a little bit, I don't know, too cowardly to actually write about mental illness. And yeah, that's really it for Malkavians in terms of history. Not that much happens. We managed to finish history under an hour.
Yeah, they just kind of chill out in the background and tell people what to do and what not to do.
Yes, every historical event you see in VTM, even if they aren't credited to be there, a Malkavian was involved in everything that happened within the Camarilla. Everything had a Malkavian influence in it. Just like the Nosferatu, they're both the unsung heroes. Where the Malkavians and the Nosferatu are looking at each other saying, the entire Camarilla would fall apart if it wasn't for us.
Yep.
And they are absolutely right in saying that.
If you want to play Disco Elysium, play a Malkavian.
Yeah, exactly. Where you have your individual attributes and stats talking to you.
I mean, I did that kind of in our Spelljammer game, and it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun having you do that. In fact, let's talk about that mental illness for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
So when you play as Malkavian, you are irrevocably insane. Now, we're not talking anxiety. We're not talking depression. We're not even talking about Kanye West. We're not even talking Alex Jones levels of crazy. We're talking about you are a danger to everyone around you. crazy is what we're talking about.
It's like that Rusty Cage shirt that says, I am schizophrenic and I have a gun. That is you as a Malkavian.
Oh no, this is super schizophrenia. Like, schizophrenics can at least function in society. A Malkavian can't. You are heavily dependent on your visions, your ghouls, your other vampires, and substances like drugs and antipsychotics to keep you functioning. You can't keep going the next day without this stuff. Thanks to that, a lot of Malkavians are drug addicts because of that. Especially the ones that are embraced after 1997. And there's... The narrative I keep seeing with the Malkavians is that, oh, the entire clan's offensive because it's making fun of the mentally disabled. No.
No.
You have not met the crazy that the Malkavians are. I mean, this is like legit danger to people around you kind of stuff. Or,
What?
I don't know if I should even tell this story on the show.
No, you don't have to. You don't want to.
Yeah, it's that. Colin, Ryan, you both know what I'm talking about when I said like somebody in my family lost their mind. And
yeah.
That's where I'm going to leave it.
Yeah.
Yup.
So if you're seeing the Malkavians as something offensive, you haven't dealt with like the life-threatening insanity where you are a genuine danger to me and I don't know what you're going to do. Every interaction I have with you feels like pins and needles, and I have no idea what you're going to do to me or what you're thinking. That kind of crazy is the Malkavians.
Basically, every interaction you will have with a Malkavian feels like a hostage negotiation.
And now, Victor, you have another opinion on the Malkavians.
Well,
Where?
I guess when it comes to the subject of mental illness, a best friend of mine, long story short, a sibling of mine, he more so recently got diagnosed with kind of like some psychotic stuff, and basically, in the heat of the moment of the situation, a best friend of mine said the most horrible yet true to life funniest thing I must have ever heard about my family. Mental illness doesn't run in your family. It sprints. And for me, I have more so a developmental disorder. I have like high functioning autism, you know?
Mhm.
And I mean, yeah, I'm not dangerous, you know, but
Yeah.
I could struggle with functioning if I'm too much have like my back against the wall. I mean, I used to be low functioning autistic. It was horrible, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I like the Malkavian clan because they are kind of like autistic people because, well, it's called ASD, autism spectrum disorder. It comes into a spectrum. So
Right.
for me, I guess these terms are not PC, but there's nothing PC about this show, so I'm gonna let go of the chain.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead.
basically, yeah. So basically, so I always thought of like, well, they say there's different stages of madness for the Malkavian, how there's the fool, the madman, I forgot what all the stages were called, but basically, the first stage kind of vaguely makes me think of the 5 stages of grief, of how like at first it's struggling, it's agonizing, somewhat relieving, and then it's agonizing all over again. It's just a giant circle. So basically, there's a very specific type of dangerous Malkavian, very, very dangerous. Like they can't even function for shit. You know, they can't even talk or anything. They're called the Nod. And to me, they're like low functioning autistic people that are like nonverbal, really cannot interact with anything without freaking the hell out, basically. Yeah. It's
And
go on.
I agree with that. There's many ways you can interpret the Malkavians because there is truth to saying that with Vampire the Masquerade, there is no one right way to do things. I mean, you have to portray the Setites as monsters. I mean, don't be sympathetic to the group at all. But there are multiple things you can see with the Bruja, because a lot of people out there that play vampires see the Bruja as the genuine hero clan. I could not disagree with you more on that, but if you see that in the Bruja, then I'm not going to take that away from you. You can see that with the Bruja. And same thing with the Malkavians. There's multiple ways to interpret the Malkavians, because you have the whole legend of the Cassandra truth. You have an idea. You know how you want to express it, but you have difficulty expressing it with the Malkavians.
Yeah.
And I know that feeling because I used to be in that same position too. And it took years of medication and therapy for me to eventually get off of that. Where I was constantly teetering on like going to remedial classes back when I was a little kid. And thanks to, I don't know, learning how to function as an adult, I ended up getting out of that. And my diagnosis changed from autism to Asperger's after that. Johnny has Asperger's? Yeah, big surprise, right?
Nah, it's cool as shit, dude.
I always say that you're just like a freaking superhero with how much shit you learn in such a short period of time.
Because the way you retain information is amazing to me.
It is.
Exactly it. Where you have a different way of thinking, and that's a way you can interpret the Malkavians. And yeah, that's the same thing with what you're saying with the autism. You're not an idiot, you just think in a different way.
Yep. It's like
that's how it works.
As on a comparison, I remember when we did the Red Talons episode, and how much different of a state of mind you have to be in order to effectively portray a Red Talon character. Because as a Red Talon, you're rejecting all things human. When you're playing a Malkavian, you have to reject all straightforward logical thinking. You have to do it the most roundabout way possible, but at the same time, it always comes out to work.
And it's like in Comet, for example. Say, oh, there's a werewolf heading your way. Every vampire in the coterie either gets up and runs, or they use their highest disciplines to try to fight the werewolf. The Malkavian is going over. He goes over into a yard and he starts pulling grass off the yard, and he holds all this clumps of grass in his hands so he can run over, and then he throws it into the face of the werewolf. And the werewolf is thinking, well, what the fuck did you do? And then, as it turns out, that werewolf has an allergy to weeds and starts sneezing, leaving him vulnerable for the Bruja to land a killing blow on him. Like that, where you have this master plan that's going to work, but it happens in such a roundabout way.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So, there's a lot of stuff you can pack and unpack with the Malkavians. And speaking of, how does their selection process work? Well, I'm glad you asked, because they intentionally looked for people that were already crazy and said, I'm going to make you really crazy. They'll do that. They'll see people that already have schizophrenia or borderline personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder, psychosis, stuff like that. Because they think the madder you are, the wiser you're going to be. They'll do that, but that's post-1997. Before that, they would go after misunderstood geniuses. People like Albert Einstein or Aleister Crowley, who was embraced. Yeah, Aleister Crowley is a vampire in the world of vampire.
To no one's surprise.
I'm not even shitting you on that.
Wasn't he in Berlin by Night or something?
London by Night.
Oh.
Yeah, and he was embraced specifically to screw over the Tremere, who were growing too powerful for Mithras's liking. And it turned out that Aleister did such a great job that he got red-listed and a blood hunt was placed on him. Did too good at your job, dude.
A little bit. Mr. Crowley.
He also tried to inseminate Ashley, the Tremere main character, so, not exactly a good person.
No. Granted, there are very few of those in the world of darkness to begin with.
The most edgy atheist to ever live.
He
Little bit.
overqualified for the job.
And then 40 years later, well, how many ever years later, we would get The Amazing Atheist.
Oh,
What a
good lord.
Beautiful,
Orwin.
what a beautiful evolution.
Okay. So, why are you... God damn it. We got Johnny on a laughing loop.
I was thinking of The Amazing Atheist as a Malkavian now.
Honestly, you know what? That's not too big of a stretch.
I had a vision from God and it told me that God wasn't real.
Neckbeard
Malkavian
Malkavian atheist. That's fucking crazy.
All your conversations with God are actually coming from the Madness Network.
Well, I mean, there's Dr. Douglas Net Church.
That explains
Exactly.
some churches, guys.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, Douglas Net Church. Now this guy's fucking freaky. You know about him, right?
I actually
Yep.
don't.
You told a story this time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
tell it.
So I more so glossed over about his character bio. He's in the revised edition of Clan Book, but basically, to grossly oversimplify it, he's essentially a mad scientist. I'm using that term very loosely. I mean, he's a scientist and he's crazy, duh. But basically, his whole thing was that he was I believe, as a human, he was a doctor in World War I.
Yes.
His sire was a dude named Tremigian, and his whole thing was his whole thing I'm losing my train of thought here, I apologize.
Here he is, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His whole thing
this
was like,
is the Woody Allen vampire.
oh heavenly God, my glasses. I'll send you after this episode when I'm referencing the Jerky Boys. Anyway, so Tremigian saw this dude, and he was like, "Yo, this guy's kind of smart, bro. I wonder what happens if I embrace him." You know, and X-rated scene later, bro gets up, puts on his glasses, and says, this is very interesting. I should study this for eternity now. Basically. So now he does...
He is, like we were talking about with atheism, he is the atheist. His derangement, detachment. He has no belief in the spiritual. He doesn't think heaven's real. He doesn't think God is real. He doesn't think the werewolves get their powers from spirits. He doesn't believe in magic. He doesn't believe in the devil. He doesn't believe in demons. He doesn't believe in ghosts. He doesn't believe in anything unless it is science. He worships science, pretty much. And
he's quite literally that Reddit meme of, oh my science.
Yeah, he's holding up the phone to you with his neck stubble, telling you to stop believing in God. He says, well, if bad thing happened, how did God exist?
Because good thing happen.
Our existence for God is that you're a vampire. That's the evidence.
Yep.
He vaguely makes me... I only watched the first 20 minutes of this movie, but he makes me think of the mad scientist dude from Reanimator, where he's trying to create life. Yeah.
Exactly. Pretty underrated story from Lovecraft.
Yeah.
And who else was in the... who else? How about one Anatole? You remember this guy, right?
Gehenna. Yeah, I know this guy.
Oh my gosh, he deserves so much better. Like okay, so cover your ears because spoiler for the Beckett novels. This guy's death was a legit feels bad man moment in the story, because he really was the glue that was tying the group together, and his death ends up putting Lucita de Aragon on a dark road. And then Beckett's entire group collapses, and it's just left to him to witness Gehenna by himself. And
ouch.
Yeah. He's also wearing the Bubsy 3D shirt.
What?
Yeah, here he is.
Oh shit, he is.
Yeah, he is.
What could possibly go wrong?
I don't know. That kind of reminds me of Shazam.
That too. Could be one or the other. It's a Malkavian.
Forgive me if
Shazam
I'm
and
wrong.
Malkavian? Jesus.
You what?
Forgive me if I'm wrong. He vaguely looks like frick. What was the dude? Not Maynard. Kurt Cobain.
Yes.
A little bit,
Yes,
with like
exactly.
longer hair. Yeah.
Like Kurt Cobain mixed with Riff Raff.
I was going to say David Bowie, but you know.
And he dies in a haunting way. He sees the body of Zimichi underneath New York, like a fragment of Zimichi's body that he's been digging beneath the Atlantic Ocean, and now it's in New York. He just willingly hops into it, and he dies that way.
Why does he do that?
Yeah.
I-
He takes the black pill and he says there's nothing we can do to stop Gehenna. And the evidence is, behold, Zimichi dug a hole to China all the way to New York City. And that's it. It's over.
I believe before he like died and his flesh merged into Zamitsu or whatever, I think he, I guess in quote, downloaded his brain to the Madness Network, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, exactly. He did the dementation aspects where he sent his brain into the Madness Network, and everything he recorded, Malkav got a hard copy of, and then behold, that's something else that he gets to use when Gehenna happens.
Hard
So-
CD copy,
Yeah.
Blu-ray enhanced, 4K.
Yep.
It's like the main characters of Werewolf and the main characters of Vampire kind of like have a few parallels, because Beckett has similarities to Jonas Albrecht, Mary Cabra with Lucita the Aragon, and then Evan Heals the Past and Anatole, where it's the leader, the hero leader with long hair, the badass woman, and then the guy who's the glue of the party. And it goes to show that Jonas Albrecht could have gone down a darker road if Evan Heals the Past died before he was supposed to. And what else is there to talk about with the Malkavians? You want to pull up the full list of derangements?
Where is that at?
It's the Wheel of Insanity. You want to see the Wheel of Insanity?
Show us the Wheel of
Yes.
Insanity.
Show us the Wheel of Insanity, please.
All right, so keep in mind, all of these are incurable and are next to impossible to treat. You are stuck with this shit forever. So
Insert.
Behold.
Can I? Sorry. Yeah.
can I lose my mind? You hear what you're saying?
Oh. Makes me think of the Iron Maiden song from the album Seventh Son of a Seventh Son called "Can I Play with Madness?"
Play with Madness, please.
I'm sorry you
Yeah.
referenced that album.
Please, sir, can I have some more?
Bro, that was a good ass album. What are
No,
you
it-
talking about, Cole?
No, 7th chorus repeat of a 7th chorus repeat, 7th synth rock ballad of a 7th synth rock ballad.
Bro, I'm not a nerd like you when it comes to music theory. If I listen to music, I just enjoy it, okay?
Yeah, that's
Just-
why I have Peace of Mind on vinyl. A
Yeah,
far
that
better
shit's good
album.
too.
I'm over here listening to straight trash.
I don't care. Hollywood Undead's actually fun.
Let's go down the line.
Yes.
I wasn't talking about Hollywood Undead.
Oh.
Just everything else.
We've got the horrible case of agoraphobia, amnesia, antisocial personality disorder, berserk, bipolar affective disorder, level 3, like past 1 and 2, horrible bulimia, compulsion, dependent personality disorder, dissociative identity disorder, fugue states, histrionics, hysteria, clausomania, megalomania, memory lapses, obsessive compulsive disorder, overcompensation, paranoid personality disorder, phobia, power object fixation, post-traumatic stress disorder, regression, schizophrenia times 2, self-defeating personality disorder, sexual dysfunction, and what is this? Synesthesia.
I don't even know what the hell that
Also
last
known
one
as
is.
aka overloaded nervous system. Where
26 in total?
26 different things you can add on to your horrible schizophrenia from beyond, which is what Malkav has. where you are constantly seeing things, hearing things, sensing things, talking to people that aren't real, losing your damn mind, and there's no way you can really stop that from happening. Now, schizophrenia is a real thing, but this goes beyond it. This is to the point where you can barely step out of your own home because you're so freaked out by what you're seeing. And the fun thing is, with Malkavians, I feel like they got a bad reputation and part of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. That is a fantastic game, but I think it's given people the wrong idea about what Malkavians are supposed to be, because you look at Malkavians and you think about the main character Malkavian. You think about Therese and Jeanette Vorman. You're not focusing on Alistair Grout, which is what most Malkavians turn out to be.
Yeah.
This has led to the trope of the fish milk, aka I'm wacky, I'm crazy, I'm zany, I'm loony, hoo-hoo, oh, silly, crazy, this is what insanity is. When now I think that's why people say the mental illness Malkavian stuff is offensive. It's not in of itself, it's that players don't really know how to convey it.
Yes.
I mean, you honestly don't know how to act crazy unless you have had a genuine mental disorder that has disrupted your life in some sort of way.
Or you're
You
a
just
very
don't
good
understand
actor.
it. Yeah, you just don't really understand. Like, even method acting, I don't even think you get to that, because Heath Ledger's Joker, that's not really crazy. That's just a guy who's really fucking intimidating, not really insanity.
Well, there's Anton Chigurh as well.
Yeah, Anton Chigurh, I would say that's something something close to what Malkavian would be.
Yep, I think
Hannibal Lecter.
That'd be good too.
Yeah, that works.
I mean, I think a group of psychologists analyzed like 20 different mentally ill characters from fiction, and out of all of them, they discerned that Anton Chigurh was the most accurate representation of psychosis.
Exactly. The obsession with coin tosses, complete lack of empathy when it comes to anything.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, I want there to be more scary Malkavians out there. That's my call to action here. Be scary as a Malkavian.
I think I got that covered.
Yeah. Because you talk about Euroscenes in the channel from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though they aren't Malkavians, they're Kadif, but yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we came close to Ryan playing a Malkavian. We came close to that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because while we were developing what Sylvester Shrek was going to be, the first thing that came across your mind was Malkavian, until you saw how the Kadif rules worked.
Yeah. I chose Kadif as a beginner thing. So I didn't want to get into the whole complication of what a Malkavian is. So I went with the Kadif, which is like pick and choose your own stuff. And honestly, it was a great introduction for me at least, into World of Darkness.
Because we went for a mostly Sabbat game with that, and it became very easy for you to learn how society worked from a mechanical sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
I still think it's funny. It's like the two freshest people to Vampire in that campaign, me and Ryan. I played a gangrel, which in hindsight I feel like was a mistake, but
You're
Ryan playing
furry,
a
that's why
Kadif
you
was a
picked it.
stroke of genius.
Yes.
Of course, I think the reason being, I think the two of us adapted radically different strategies for learning about a new world. Because of Colt's backstory of him being a hunter previous to being, sired into vampire society, he had to learn the inside now from after years of being outside of it. Ryan, meanwhile, well, actually, our approaches were similar but in different ways. Because he was a Kadif, Kadifs are, mostly looked down upon in vampire society because of the fact that they weren't, fully embraced properly is the thing.
Right.
So, he was on the inside, but was still an outsider on the inside. Colt, meanwhile, had a directly adversarial relationship with vampire society, and now had to learn how to live in it.
And one more thing I'll say, how should you play the Malkavian? because depending on when you were sired is going to radically change how you play your character. If you're playing a Dark Ages game, you've only got the one option, but in any game that takes place before 1997, you will be the Dominate Malkavian, where that is much easier to play in comparison. So it's up to you as to how you want to be a Malkavian in a modern day game, where demontation is now back on the table. In fact, let's talk about demontation right now.
Yes.
I actually had the option to play Malkavian. It was in my Friday game. No, not my Friday, Saturday game. It was either a Ventrue or a Malkavian.
And I
went
told
with
you to go
Ventrue.
with the Ventrue because we don't have enough Ventrue.
Yeah.
And-
But demontation.
You're having a fantastic time with that.
Give me like 5
Yeah,
seconds.
Yeah, now, really, Auspex is the perfect discipline for the Malkavians because they use Auspex way more often than they use Demontation. However, because Demontation is unique to Malkavians and only the Malkavians get it, we will be talking about that today instead. And
All right.
this is the power that is made to ruin people's lives.
Yes.
There's no nice power in demontation.
No, they're all sorts of ways
Fucked up.
to mess with someone.
Let's begin with the passion.
Passion. So the vampire will stir emotions in the victim, either heightening them to a fevered pitch or blunting them until the target is desensitized. Jesus, that's a word.
Very
The canine
sophisticated.
may not choose which emotions affected. They only amplify or dull emotions already present in the target in this way. A vampire can inflame mild irritation into quivering rage or atrophy true love into casual interest.
Mm-hmm.
System-wise, the character talks to the victim. The vampire player rolls charisma empathy. Difficulty is equal to the victim's humanity or path rating. The number of successes determined the duration of altered state of feeling. Effects of this power might include 1 or 2 point additions or subtractions to difficulties or frenzy rolls. Virtue rolls or rolls to resist presence powers.
And wonderful. So you can see how the nastiness starts already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like immediately, I'm going to take all of your emotions and turn them up to 11 for a determined period of time.
Or I'm going to turn them off.
Yes.
Depending on how many successes you roll, depends on the length of time that your emotions are affected.
Yeah, for one turn, you get somebody to take a chill pill for one turn.
Yeah, that's for 1 excess. For 3 successes, it's 1 night to give it more.
Now, to my surprise, this goes off of charisma, which I was not expecting. I swore this should have been manipulation, but I guess not.
Agree with you. It definitely should have been manipulation because think about it. You're manipulating a person
Exactly.
you're adjusting their emotions to fit your needs,
Mm.
even though it says random.
Let's talk about the haunting.
The vampire.
Cats.
What's up?
Cats?
You want-
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what he's talking about.
Yup.
This might be a horror show thing.
Let's see. All right.
Um,
Tell me about the haunting.
The haunting. Vampire manipulates the sensory centers of the victim's brain, flooding the victim's senses with visions, sounds, scents, or feelings that aren't really there. The images, regardless of the sense to which they appeal, are only fleeting glimpses, barely perceptible to the victim. The vampire using demontation cannot control what the victim perceives, but may choose which sense is affected. The haunting effect occurs mainly when the victim is alone. Oh, I see now.
Yep, there it is.
And
There.
mostly at night.
They are kind of freaky looking up close now. I'm looking at it.
Bending into ink machine looking cats.
Honestly.
This was what was affecting Chico, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's
All
what we
broad
used on
cats.
Chico. Yeah.
I see cat. Why
Yeah.
you said cat?
Yeah.
To get into the system, after the vampire speaks to the victim, the player spends a blood point and rolls manipulation and subterfuge. Difficulty of the victim's perception / self-control or instinct. The number of successes determines the length of the sensory visitations. The precise effects are up to the storyteller, though particularly eerie or harrowing apparitions can certainly reduce dice pools for a turn or two after the manifestation.
And behold, this will stick for you with for life. Even after it fades away, you're going to remember everything that happened to you.
Nobody
For
else
one
will believe
success, it'll be 1 night. For 3 successes, 1 week. For 6 or more, 1 year.
Good lord,
Exactly.
a year. Fuck that.
Do you remember how many successes Heaven's Divide rolled?
No, I don't.
3.
Oh.
I was going to last a week.
Well,
Yep.
no, wait. I thought we got it figured out.
You got it figured out in the waking world, but when you fall asleep, you're still going to see cats every night for a week.
Oh. Okay, I see. So,
There
no,
you
we
go.
should not go to Mexico then. No Mexico road trip for us.
You're still demented. That's what it is.
No Breaking Bad for us.
Oh, man.
You can still go to Mexico. It's going to be fine.
It's not like there's a very well-armed caitiff and his Assamite friend down there or anything.
And we can instead play Rage Across Mexico. Or part of me is wondering, why was that not a book?
I call dibs on playing a Nuisha.
There we go.
Okay.
It only makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Eyes of Chaos.
The Eyes of Chaos. This particular power allows the vampire to take advantage of the fleeting clarity hidden in insanity. They may scrutinize the patterns of a person's soul, the convolutions of a vampire's inner nature, or even random events in nature itself. The kindred with this power can discern the most well-hidden psychoses. Psychoses? Sure.
Psychosis plural.
Yeah. That's just weird that they... Yeah. Or
Psychosis.
gain insight into a person's true self. Malkavians with this power often have, or claim to have, knowledge of the moves and counter moves of the Great Jihad, or perhaps, or the patterns of fate. I'm only going to read the first, or should I just read the whole system?
Yeah,
for
just do the first part.
Just the first part. This power allows a vampire to determine a person's true nature, among other things. The vampire concentrates for a turn, then the player rolls perception and occult. The difficulty depends on the intricacy of the pattern. Discerning the nature of a stranger would be a difficulty 9. A casual acquaintance would be an 8. And an established ally would be 6.
Okay.
Sorry, I got distracted by Discord. Almost anything might contain some hidden insight, no matter how trivial or meaningless. The patterns are present in most things, but are so intricate that they can keep a vampire spellbound for hours while they try to understand the message. I'm going to put this in streamer mode. Can I do that?
It's in your settings. You can go user settings and then streamer mode is
Gotcha.
down there.
You see, he's being demented as we speak.
Yes.
Yes, I hear boop, ba-doop, ba-doop, and like every part of me just wants to look right at it.
I think that was my keyboard. I have a very loud keyboard.
No, it was the Discord
Discord
messages
thing,
that we
so.
were getting.
Yeah,
But it's
Is that all what Eyes of Night does? Eyes of Chaos?
I mean, there's a second part, but I'm pretty sure that's just going to go into more detail
does.
about what it does.
Yeah, it does. All right. So, behold, there's your Eyes of Chaos. You get to, I don't know, read a mind with this.
I feel like wouldn't Auspex already do this though?
It sees
Yes.
the past. So,
Okay.
it gives you the same information, but in two different ways from a different source.
Okay.
In one, I can't remember which edition, but they do have an aura reading of some type.
Yes, it's V20 they have aura perception with Auspex.
Yes. Yeah.
But that can only tell you what happens in the present moment. And it doesn't really tell you anything about the person you're looking at.
It tells you they're because one of my
Their mood.
players used it last session, but it tells you their mood, what they are. So like if they're a vampire or a ghoul, if they're anxious, it comes out staticky. The different colored.
Time you wore the mood ring in elementary school and you had the mood ring on.
Yeah, it's sort of like that, except it protrudes off the body. I thought it was pretty cool.
It is a useful power to have in the right situation.
Gotcha.
Let's talk about Voice of Madness.
The voice of madness.
Now we get into the real bread and butter of this ability.
Oh yeah. Voice of madness by merely addressing the victims out loud. Sorry, for some reason as soon as I started this, I started getting hiccups.
You're being demented, is what's happening.
The Kindred.
It's my fault.
Stop making eye contact with Victor.
It's only when I start talking, it's like, oh, now's a good time to start hiccuping.
You
The
should
Kindred,
shit yourself.
the Kindred can drive targets into fits of blind rage or fear, forcing them to abandon reason or higher thought. Victims are plagued by hallucinations of their subconscious demons and try to flee or destroy their hidden shames. Tragedy almost always follows in the wake of this power's use, though offending Malkavians often claim that they were merely encouraging people to act according to their natures. Unfortunately for the vampire concerned, they run a very real risk of falling prey to their own voice. System. The player spends a blood point and makes a manipulation and empathy roll. Difficulty 7. One target is affected per success, although potential victims must be listening to the vampire's voice. Affected victims fly into an immediate frenzy or a blind fear like Rotshrek.
Yes, pretty much the same as Fox Frenzy from Werewolf, where, to very quickly explain it, it's the fear effect from D&D.
I gotcha. I was just wondering if I pronounced that correct, and I did.
You did first try.
First try. I know, right? Surprise. Kindred or other creatures capable of frenzy, such as lupines, may make a frenzy check or a Rotshrek chest. Storyteller's choice as to how they are affected at a +2 difficulty to resist the power. Mortals are automatically affected and don't remember their actions while berserk. The frenzy or fear lasts for a scene, though vampires and lupines may test as usual to snap out of it. The vampire using the voice also has to test upon invoking the power, though the difficulty to resist is lower than normal. If the initial roll is a failure, the roll to resist the frenzy is one higher than normal. If the roll to invoke this power is a botch, the frenzy or Rotshrek response is automatic.
Fun, right? Pretty much shuts down combat encounter when you use this.
Yep.
Yep, it's just a full-on free-for-all at that point.
Exactly. You're going, cause I gotta freak the fuck out. He's gonna run away from you, hands in the air, screaming. Where Kane, why is this a thing? Why is just screaming, blathering fear a thing with vampires?
Because
I
they're
don't know,
scary.
Well, I'm going to blame Kane for that. You're a vampire. You're the scariest thing in the room.
No, you're not. That, like I have
gotta
said,
be even more scarier.
yes.
Just bite the black spiral dancer and drink its blood already. Nothing's going to happen to you.
Right.
I don't know.
And then
Have
your
you
skin
met
melts off from
a worm?
radiation. It's gonna
You're a
need a lot of blood
vampire.
to
You
fix that.
You're not going to develop the cancer because you're not alive anymore.
It's not the cancer, it's just the fucking heat from the radiation itself.
You're just going to look like the Nosferatu. They live like that all the time.
Yeah, but that's the last thing you fucking want.
Go see the Zamichi. Get the plastic surgery from them.
Look. I have said pretty much most, if not every episode, the thing I love about the world of darkness is there is always something scarier than you out there.
And this is it. This is it. Alright. Let's go totally mad, Ryan. Let's go totally
Let's
mad.
just get-
Go
Let's just go
bonkers, yeah.
insane.
See.
In the wise words of someone, let's go in sicko mode.
Go brainless,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's
Go wacky. Go positively bonkers, yeah.
Play the
Go crazy, go
music.
stupid. Ah!
Reminds me of that one Black Eyes Peas song.
Let's
Uh,
get retarded. Ha!
Yeah, really.
Total insanity. The vampire coaxes the madness from the deepest recesses
Recesses.
Reese's Puffs.
right, of the target's mind, focusing it into an overwhelming wave of insanity. This power has driven countless victims, vampire and mortal alike, to unfortunate ends. The kindred must gain the target's undivided attention. So it's kind of like most of dominations, you need to get the person's attention. Undivided attention for at least one full turn to enact this power. The person spends a blood point and rolls manipulation and intimidation. Difficulty of the victim's current willpower points. Now, is that permanent or temporary?
I'd say, but this being level 5, it's permanent.
Permanent, gotcha.
Fuck you up for life.
If the
Find
roll
a
is
really
successful,
talented Theurge.
you're not wrong. If the roll is successful, the victim is afflicted with 5 derangements of the storyteller's choice. What the fuck? The number of successes determines the duration. 1 for 1 turn, 3 for a week, or 5 or more for a year. A whole year? Jesus.
There it is. Get to be totally mad for a year.
The storyteller can decide what a victim inflicts upon themselves by attempting to incite primal hells lurking within the darkest recesses of a victim's mind. On a botch, by the way. I forgot to say that at the beginning. The victim or target of a botch can spend a number of willpower points equal to the successes rolled to end the duration prematurely.
Right.
The storyteller decides when such willpower points can be spent, such as after a therapy session or after a friend has managed to prove a particular delusion false. That's fucked.
Yes, it is.
There you go. And you will never fully recover from it.
Riddle me this. How many successes did Jekyllstein get against Reynard?
Let's see. Against Reynard, let's see, what was it? One success over.
Oh.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
So it was
So
literally just one turn.
Yeah, but, the idea is so appealing to Reynard that he's not going to stop.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
He's already pretty antisocial. And then after you get hit with the total insanity, it leads you to thinking that doing stuff like this... Hold on a minute. That stuff like this is a good idea.
What the hell is this?
Yeah.
Bro, it's the scene from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory where the chocolate
Yeah.
palace melts, bro.
This dude
Oh,
who did
yeah.
this dude
I
on
hope
TikTok
so.
he did a Easter chocolate bunny TF where he just slathered himself in chocolate and then hopped in his car like this.
I feel like this is something that I Show Speed would do.
That makes me think of a meme where it's like the dude staring into the camera and it's just peanut butter all over his face.
I love how like he can't see out of his. Oh wait, no, he did. I thought he couldn't see out of his one eye because I thought he had like chocolate in it or something. This is almost as bad as the Max Mofo Easter Bunny challenge without a basic.
Oh no.
I don't want to know.
Well, you'll be damned if you do. You'll be damned if you don't.
Yeah. Oh man.
All right. Let's talk about relationships.
Yep. Time to relationships. So
Oh,
the Malkavians, knowing a lot of things about a lot of people, have a lot of, actually not a whole lot to say that makes sense.
I sent you first edition. I have second edition in my hand.
I have
Okay.
both
So
physically.
starting us off,
See.
we
Wait,
what's up?
well, hold on a minute. You're on the wrong page. Like, oh yeah, I sent you the right page.
Yeah, it did. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, in the book notes, they don't
But
say a whole
how-
lot about a number of the clans
cereal.
because the Malkavians find the other clans tiresome and have little patience for their dogma and narrow worldviews. That's just funny as shit. So, starting us off with the Bruja. The Bruja, they go around and, they want to change everything but themselves. They will fuck over the rest of the world before they can see the damage they have done. They have a self-polluted inner landscape, as the book remarks. And revolutions go both ways. It's a vicious cycle. You fight to change something changes. You complain that it's not the change you wanted, so you do it again. However, they are occasionally useful. Prank them good, help them rebel against everything. Just to fuck around with them and then watch it come back and bite them in the ass because it's really funny. Although, somehow the individualists, Bruja, are, fucking around and finding out as well. So prank that wall from the other side, meet him halfway. They like pranks. They really like pranks. Moving on from that, what's up?
In second edition, the Malkavians compare the Bruja to animals. They say that a beast is smarter than a Bruja. In terms of, given that these guys have the whole, what was it? I'm pulling it up right now. The NPC chip meme.
Oh
where
yeah,
that
the current thing.
That literally is just the Bruja.
Yep, except
Where-
except for one very good one who we all love.
Ragnar.
Yes, I don't care. I'm the channel's resident Ragnar simp.
Exactly. He was our favorite character from the live play.
He really was. I love the hell out of him. Anyway,
And given that the Malkavians can do the programming with demontation,
yeah,
behold, the Bruja are the perfect puppet for any Malkavian.
they really are.
I mean, in our vampire game, why do you think the Anarchs fell to Malkavians? It's because of that.
Yep. Good old DJ Flash. Except we killed him on the freeway. But
He deserved his death.
yeah, so speaking of animals, the Gangrel. They're restless wanderers, hicks, and animal friends. If you could talk to the animals and learn the language of the animals, then you could probably talk to a Gangrel. They kind of just chill. They kind of chill around in the forests, and they spend a lot of time lost in their own madness. But they get to kind of chill out in the forest and watch the moon rise. So I guess they're doing all right. Then we got the Nosferatu. It starts.
Hold on a minute.
What's up?
Hold on a minute.
What?
In second edition, the Malkavians fucking hate the Gangrel's guts.
Really?
They want to see this clan die. They just hate him that strongly. And they equate the Gangrel to being a bunch of posers that don't actually contribute anything to the Camarilla.
Well,
If the Gangrel want to leave, they can leave.
well, I mean, yeah, they ain't done nothing for us. All we are to them is werewolf bait. That's all we are.
Many of you will die, but it's a sacrifice we are willing to make.
Yeah, fuck this. I'm gonna go chill in my cabin in the woods and have a smoke. Fuck that.
I
Anyway.
love how in the oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Good.
Say
I'll,
it. Say it.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, it says that they're a bunch of preteens, like a
Yes.
bunch of moody emo kids, which I think is funny the way how they phrased it, which I hate to say, I think they have a point. I mean,
You look at how they dress too.
yeah.
What, the gangrel?
Yes,
Yeah, long trench coats, cowboy
Yeah.
hats,
They have a fetish for leather jackets.
Yeah,
With studs in them.
it's just Ram Ranch all over again.
God damn it.
Exactly. But put in the gangrel.
I hate you both.
Specifically 18 of them in a shower.
Why are there two of you now?
Hey, if there's one Malkavian, be wary. If there's two, run.
But I can't because
okay.
you're both hosting the podcast with me.
Kyle,
It's good.
demented.
Just kidding.
You got backup, and I'm definitely not a figment of your imagination.
I
Fairy godmother.
I mean,
want to go
Godfather.
home. I hate this show. Anyway, Nosferatu. The Nosferatu section starts with a joke. How many Nosferatu does it take to end the Inquisition? All of them. They bit off more than they can chew, really, with how much they actually know, and they know more about the big picture than anybody. But despite knowing anything, they're also smelly and they look terrible. And they know that vampires don't try to sanitize it for their protection. But they know they can get to the heart of everything else before even the Malkavians do. So you got to be careful around them.
In 2E, in direct contrast to the Gangrel, the Malkavians love the Nosferatu. They don't have a bad thing to say about them.
Even not
It's
the
that they
ugly.
have They say that, and they say that the Nosferatu need to stop caring about that. They focus way too much on their appearance. Where,
I agree.
Yeah, well, then again, you stepping outside is masquerade breach, but dog, you go into certain parts of West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, there's people that look like Nosferatu out on the street.
Just go to Oregon, bro.
Just move to the country.
Just say you got caught in a terrible fire.
Is that you? I brought this up when we played Vampire. The 2020-2021 pandemic was a perfect time to be a Nosferatu. You finally got to go on the street.
Yeah, because you had to
Is
wear a
everybody-
mask.
Yeah, everybody was masked up around that time. That was a perfect time for the Nosferatu.
Yep.
Exactly.
The 2 years you finally got to see the sky.
Yep. So then we got the Toreador, and there's a song related to the Toreador because there's the Toreador March. I forget the name of the musician. It was like Toreador, go bathroom on the floor, Toreador, something like that. Poseur, artiste, artiste. One of all the same. Some make the art, the other eats it. They're pretentious as shit, but they're actually good company. They say they throw great parties, and they'll put up with basically anything that you put them through because they need to keep up the pretense that they're all hip and trendy, and they need to keep up the pretense that they have a good, sense of humor. But they do have a tendency to try and stab you in the back if they get sick of your bullshit. So, another thing you can do just to fuck with them is, you can be shown around their priceless art collection and then talk complete and utter shit about it. And if you really want to get under their skin, take that art and replace it with a very well-made replica and then give the art to a chilly homeless individual.
There it is. They'd hang it up in a Denny's restaurant.
Yep. Neat thing I wanted to note was the Toreador paradox. It says they live for pleasure, yet they're not alive and can't experience pleasure. They have fallen into an undead memory of pleasure, and they can't get up. Free them.
Kill them.
Yeah.
They also, in second edition, they don't have that many bad things to say about the Toreador either. They say they make for fantastic company, same as what you said.
Yep.
And some Malkavians will go gay just to be with a Toreador. Because, you've seen Tabitha in her life play.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's
I
like, damn,
have.
bro.
I'm trying to keep Freddy away from her at all costs.
You
Once you go
could
Toreador, never go back.
I can
You're
what?
saying?
you could argue that technically creativity and insanity in real life are kind of the peanut butter and jelly of
Yes.
each other to a certain extent. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of artists are mentally ill as shit. H.R. Geiger.
H.R.
And
Geiger, Ralph Bakshi, Vincent Van Gogh.
There is some pain in it too, because a lot of them say that their insanity is the one reason they're able to make art, and then they just refuse to seek treatment because of that.
Kanye West.
Yes. He says he keeps saying if he went on medication, he wouldn't be able to make Watch the Throne. You didn't make Watch the Throne in the past 5 years. You teamed up with Little Pump and dressed up like robots characters.
That was a terrible
just said-
fucking song.
And he just made a song about how he can allegedly deliver in bed, and that's it.
Yep. Well, he's a sick fuck. He likes a quick fuck. I don't think that's delivering. That's like come and go, pump and dunk, blow your load and hit the road.
You put Kanye West in your game, you make him a Malkavian.
Yeah. Didn't you fucking do that in the original life?
No, I am a Tremere into Tribute.
I think that's a missed opportunity, my guy.
I think so too, looking back at it.
Yes. Moving on from that, we have the Tremere. Very clever, but they take everything very seriously. They're clever, but they're also stodgy enough to be the butt of a good joke. They throw incredible tantrums, but they seem to be onto them. I mean, some of the younger ones don't believe them being ants in an airtight pyramid, because that's going to be a very leaky pyramid. But some of the younger Tremere have started a new dissertation. The article is entitled as such, quote, New viz sources procurable through Malkavian perceptive reality adjustment. Basically, they're figuring it out. They played a prank that made the Elder Tremere ridicule them, but some of them know that there's power in reality tunnel manipulation, and they're going to do everything that they can to try to get their hands on it. The only thing that the Tremere don't realize is that when they do actually have it, they're going to wind up just as crazy as the Malkavians.
Mm-hmm. And in second edition, here's the thing. The Malkavians knew what they were going to do to Salat. Every Malkavian in the clan knew that it was going to happen. Malkav knew that it was going to happen. But he chose to let it happen anyway, because the alternative, if Tremere didn't get his hands on Salat, would have resulted in a worse future had Salat not been diablerized. Now, as to how that would have played out, we don't know. But
Wait, really?
know-
Really? Diablerizing Salat made things better?
yeah, he said it had to happen because the alternative could have been worse, which is another drop of evidence for the maybe Salat wasn't that good of a person theory.
Yeah, that's what I'm not entirely sure about.
Yeah, because it really does depend on the writer whether or not Salat was genuinely Vampire Jesus or he was pretending to be.
Yeah, I mean, and now he's just kind of sitting in Dracula's castle just wondering, should I actually go out and heal people, or should I say fuck it and kill everything?
He's been stewing for 10 years about that.
Yeah, that's an interesting plot point, but one that will be up to storytellers to figure out.
Yeah, it's going to take us a while to get back to it.
From them, we have the Ventru. What's
Before
up?
you get to that segment, I like to quickly imagine kind of like a joke scenario when like a Malkavian or Tremere argue with each other. Have you heard about like the comic slash briefly broadcasted TV show called Eltingville about like the nerds or something?
Yes.
I have not.
Okay, so basically the pilot episode, there was a scene where two guys have like a nerd off where they just literally just quiz each other for hours and hours to get some stupid Boba Fett action figurine or something like that. So I kind of vaguely think of like a intellectual argument between the two.
Yeah, that's the
I
comic.
guess. Yeah, that's it.
Underground
like-
comics, man.
It's like fucking one of the early episodes of Family Guy where Peter learns to become incredibly pretentious, and then Brian threatens to destroy his collectible Star Wars glass to get him to snap out of it.
Oh man, that'd be so perfect
Yeah,
for like a plot hook.
Peter,
I
remember
doing
the
that to a
time you're
Toreador.
vampire?
okay. So then we have the Ventru.
Yep.
I love how the book puts this. I couldn't put it any better. If there were kindred any easier to torment than these stuffed capes, we'd have to quit because it would be too damn easy. They're tied too tight, constricting the blood flow and making their spirits constipated. Hey, that could happen. They like being tied up to the conventional reality tunnel of the day. They're so chained to consensual reality that they can't see conformity until it plucks out their liver of something important, I guess. Basically, they take everything too goddamn seriously.
They also say, let the Ventru think they're in charge. Because the Malkavians know who's really in charge, it's them.
Yep.
But they like seeing the Ventru dress up in their suits, wear their crowns, sit on the throne, think they're important, when really you would have nothing if it wasn't for, I don't know, the Malkavians, the Toreador, the Tremere, the Shadow Lords, the incompetence of the La Sombra. Success is just to fall into your lap. We'll let you think it was you.
It's like it's basically ruler in name only. Kind of like the
Exactly.
Silver Fangs, but somehow the Ventru actually managed to keep it together.
They do have a point saying it, but the Ventru do have the merit of actually maintaining the order once they have it.
Yes.
Because when a Ventru is the prince of a city, that city does very well.
Yeah,
Unless
they know how to dictate and delegate.
Unless you're Sebastian LaCroix, then you run the entire city into the ground because you should have never been embraced in the first place.
Well, obviously, he's named after the worst beverage of all time. LaCroix sucks
With
balls.
The antifreeze drink.
Yes.
Bro, my grandma used to have that all the time at her house. It's okay if there's nothing else to drink. That's all I'm gonna say.
It tastes
You
like
drink a
TV
Celsius.
static
Look.
and nails. Fuck it.
Exactly.
Croy equals Moxie in Maine.
It really is. It's fucking terrible.
Fucking people love Moxie, and I can't for the life of me understand why.
Yeah.
Perrier, San Pellegrino.
Just sparkling water in general. It's terrible.
Yes.
Anyway,
I'll wait until you hear that German's like sparkling apple juice.
see, that actually
There's-
doesn't sound bad. It's just like, non-alcoholic cider.
Yes.
There's one particular brand of fucking sparkling water that I like, and it's like the generic fucking Hannaford brand. I don't know if you guys know what Hannaford is, but
I imagine it's
Oh.
like Canada Dry almost.
Main grocery store.
it's a main grocery store. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
Shaw's or you probably wouldn't know
Kroger's.
Connecticut either.
Kroger's, Food Lion, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Ralph's.
yeah, Whole Foods or
Great value.
Compare
Great value,
Foods.
Walmart.
Anyway,
So they have a brand of sparkling water that I thoroughly enjoy.
yeah.
Good, sorry.
It's like Dr. Perky from Food Lion.
You open up a sparkling water and drink while we discuss this next clan.
And no, I'm not going to do that. I'll drink the whiskey that's
Well,
in my
hope-
cabinet.
Well, hope
Um,
it's
I
a
got
good occasion.
H2O.
that works.
Same.
Anyway, Caitiffs. Poor lost lands. Pity them not, but give as good as you can give anybody else. You can push them over the ledge pretty easily, but there is power in growing old and powerful with no clan to tell you what to do. So, they're, like, they feel a little bad for them, but they also don't. But they also kind of respect them for being able to get away with not having a clan.
Same in 2E.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty much the same thing.
And Assamites, very short thing about the Assamites. It's kind of a joke. It's like Assamite, stupid, silly limitation, but Assamite powerful solution. A very concentrated solution. Basically, they're limited in their abilities, but they're very, very powerful. That's about it.
The Malkavians give evidence that Urshulgi diabolized Hakim.
Really?
They say that Hakim died, that he was cut into pieces by an unnamed Assamite, more than likely Urshulgi, who then diabolized Hakim and then became a symbiotic entity with him.
That's kind of neat.
Where there is that theory in another book that in order to continue his plan for all vampire extermination, that plan had to include Hakim. And the only person that was strong enough to diabolize Hakim was Urshulgi. And now the two exist as this symbiotic entity where technically Urshulgi is in charge, but Hakim is just... he's aware of what's going on in Urshulgi's body.
Basically where Freddy is in Ragnar right now.
Exactly. Very much like Argo Tal in Warhammer 40k.
Yeah. So, from then on, we already know the history between Set and Malkav. As the book says, try to remember the snakes of November and follow. Basically, where Set is, you go as well.
Yeah, they're also friends in 2B because, well, when a Setite comes into town, he's got some very interesting stuff to buy: gold, guns, people. Malkavian's going to want to buy those things.
Hardcore drugs.
Exactly. The very good antipsychotics from all the way down in Zanzibar land.
Yes. Moving on from that.
They keep saying don't let. Yeah. They say don't let the rhetoric of the Setite religion enthrall you. Remember that Set was a false god, and Malkav kinda sorta maybe had a hand in his downfall. Don't actually fall for the religion, but do entertain them when they talk to you because it makes for better business.
Yep. So, moving on from that, they have the Giovanni. They're high rollers, holy rulers, and holy terror resurrectionists. They're godfathers of souls into Italian suits and more than likely necrophilia. But they are gathering a whole lot of power very quickly. They're incredibly fast, they're slick, and they don't take jokes very well. But, they're somehow even crazier than the Malkavians. It doesn't make any sense.
And then in 2nd edition, after the Giovanni lost all of their money, all of their power, and all their zombies, the Malkavians say, we have our foot on the neck of the Giovanni clan. We are waiting for the okay to put our foot down and snap their neck. They are waiting for the Giovanni to die. They are very eager to kill them off, just like they are with the Gangrel.
Well, that's really easy. Just get rid of all their pasta.
And at the same time, Augustus Giovanni is not. Augustus Giovanni is not that scary, dude. He only has half of Cappadocius's power. You can take Augustus Giovanni. That's the one antediluvian where you would win that fight. No strings attached, no secret plan or anything like that. You defeated Malkav, but he's still alive. Grim could hunt down and kill Augustus Giovanni just fine.
Hey, Grim, do you want some extra renown?
Poke him with a stick.
Grim sleeping.
Hey,
Poke him
Grim,
with a stick and wake up.
Hey.
do you want some extra renown?
Yes.
Cool. Do you want to go hunt down Augustus Giovanni?
Fuck yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool.
I don't know who that is, but let's do it.
You say the word.
Bro.
Kill first, question later.
When my ass thinks of Augustus Giovanni, I cannot help but think of Augustus Gloop from Charlie and Chocolate Factory because of the same name. I'm like, damn it.
Fun you say that.
Cappadocius, I have the power now.
Yep, we
But-
already
but
have the
what-
picture of Augustus Gloop up here in the video. It's this dude right here covered in chocolate.
Would it surprise you if I said that Augustus Gloop and Augustus Giovanni are the same person?
Dun,
Oh
dun,
my
dun.
He's not even Italian. He's Dutch.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
See? Boom.
I thought Augustus was German.
There it is. Big surprise.
I thought he was
I
German.
think he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
He's
he
been
is.
Deutsch.
I still love in
Oh.
the original, or like in the original Gene Wilder movie, the 1962 Gene Wilder movie, when they're interviewing Augustus Gloop's family, and like the reporter puts the microphone up to his father's mouth and he eats the microphone.
No. There was a good scene in the Gene Wilder version where it was like when the golden tickets were out, there was like a scene between a patient and doctor, and the patient was saying something about like, oh, the angels talk to me, and then the doctor was like, shut up, just tell me where the golden tickets
Oh
are
yeah.
at.
The Archangel Gabriel, he spoke to me. He told me the location of the golden ticket. And what did he say? What do you
Exactly.
mean? It was a fantasy, a dream, an apparition. Shut up and tell me where the ticket is. I fucking love that movie. Okay.
True Malkavians right there.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay,
Jeffrey
so
Epstein in a chocolate factory.
we have next they move on and talk about the not the clans, the houses, I guess. Camarilla. It's funny. It said this is the greatest idea they've ever came up with. A place where all kindred can come together, discuss matters of grave consequence. The stuffiest of vampires crying out to be taken down a peg or two, and they set themselves up for a fall by actually inviting them in and asking us for help. They prove to be an endless source of never-ending fun, and they suffer with us, and they squirm with our pranks, and they fall to the curse of Malkav, and then they bring them back again the next year. Oh my god, it's so funny. But they, don't believe the rumors that we're secretly joined the Camarilla out of fear of being wiped out by this bot. That's totally not true, and we aren't worried about it at all, and they're totally not incredibly scary with the Zamichi.
Yeah, cope.
And the people
Cope.
that make it so dark that you can't see and use literal shadows to drain her blood, don't worry about
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
We're not actually
Fake
scared
news.
of them.
Fake news.
Speaking
And our
of-
rabid cousins.
Yes.
Speaking of the Los Sombra in second edition, they can only guess that they think they're the ones in control. They see them as second-rate Ventru, where they already didn't have a high opinion of the Ventru. They have nothing to fear in the Los Sombra. They just see them as jokers, and that's it. And the Zamichi, they know that Zamichi are a threat, which is why they tell their neonates, if you see a Zamichi, it dies. Kill it on the spot.
But Malkav
Where-
didn't kill Vigo.
Yep, he's locked in a box, and he was trying to use them as his dragon instead. Guess what? Now he's in the hands of Bacchus.
That's gonna be fucking weird when we get to that.
It's gonna be wild.
I'm
Yeah, it
looking
is.
forward to it. Or
And
on a high school boy,
Gonna-
Yeah.
Gonna be wild more ways than one.
Honestly.
There's-
Literally and figuratively. Okay.
there's one other clan missing from first edition, and that's the Ravnos.
I thought I saw something about the Ravnos, but I noticed, okay, no, there isn't Ravnos in this book.
It's that with the Ravnos, this is one of the only vampire clans that doesn't insult the Ravnos. And the narrator of it gives a little anecdote where they had a very close Ravnos friend that died before their very eyes, and they're super upset about it. They've never gotten over it.
That's kind of sweet.
Yeah, they mentioned that the Weekend Nightmares. Yeah, Gehenna's on, dude. There's no getting around it. There's no denying Gehenna now after, I don't know, the Weekend Nightmares happened.
Yep.
So, look the fuck out.
Yes. Then we have the Sabbat themselves. They're even more fun than the Camarilla because they prank so easily, but they're less fun because they never get the joke. Then they make fun at the Sabbat. They go, "Oh, bad Malkavian made fool of Otto smash." Yawn. Fucking lame.
No,
They're also tempting targets
what?
for the curse as well.
entire faction in decline. They've been in decline since creation.
Speaking of in decline, the Anarchs. When the Anarch rebels against his master, he gets a special chance to rebel against himself. But they rebel against their masters, but they really don't know how to rebel against themselves. Not entirely sure what they mean by that. I imagine it's their nature in general, but I'm still not entirely sure.
The Anarchs aren't friends. Stop thinking that they're friends.
Yes.
Yep.
Nobody within the Anarchs actually likes each other.
As we found out.
It's the same thing with like the super secular left that we're seeing today. The minute you get one science fact wrong from consensus, you are turned on and you are ostracized from the group. You're not friends. You're just a bunch of assholes that think you have something in common. You don't. You actually hate each other. You just don't know it yet.
Basically. Then we got the Salubri.
Wait, doesn't Sun Tzu's Art of War say something like, to understand your enemy, you must understand yourself, or something like that?
Know thy enemy, know thyself.
Yep, that's what the Anarchs failed to understand.
Yes.
You're refusing to interact with the question as to why you're Anarchs, and it results in you just being a faction of degenerates and losers.
Maybe you could ask a very well-traveled Gangle about that. Perhaps he'd be happy to tell you. Anyway.
Horrible time you had with the Anarchs.
Hey, don't fucking see. I
I'm a liberal.
was thankful to meet the single principled one amongst them. Anyway, the Salubri. What are the Salubri? Do they really have a third eye? I mean, seriously, do they actually have a third eye?
I think someone's bullshitting.
Yeah, I think they see the universe clearly, and then poke them in all three eyes because it'll be funny. Yeah. So, Golconda. It's another state in the disunited states of Malkavia. If you want it, go for it. But, the narrator prefers blood. It keeps him in touch with people. Keeps him going back to the hood. Yeah. Do Golconda if you want to. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Or you can also do the Path of Evil Revelations and worship the worm instead. It worked well for Rome.
Yeah, it worked great for them, and, fucking fell, but, it's still there, I guess.
I mean, madness can go any direction, I guess madness as a concept itself, like death, is arguably inherently neutral, but more often than not, it's very negative,
You can do it with Werewolf 5th Edition and said, is the worm actually a nice person?
Oh, hell no.
No, the balance worm
no.
No. The balance worm was a necessary evil of the cycle of life in general, the natural force of death, that is to prevent things from going so terribly out of hand. But
does Green Muammar not know what the fuck he's talking about?
Yeah, it's almost like we had to write a whole other book to tell him why he's bullshit. Anyway, then the Lupines. Wolves are fun. They keep to themselves and then try to kill us on sight. But other than that, they're cool to hang around. There's also a secret alliance of Malkavians and Lupines, made up of all the outdoorsy Malkavians and some of the Ragabash. The trickster wolves and their rugged kindred call themselves the Lunatic Fringe, and they like to prank their fellow wolves. Secret shit on the Garrow. They're chasing their own tails. They don't even know it. Maybe they'll figure it out before the end of the world, but probably not.
AKA Shadow Lords.
Yeah.
Now, here's something crazy in 2nd edition. When they look at the werewolves, they don't call them werewolves. They call them Lilin when they talk about werewolves.
Really?
And you may be wondering, well, what are you talking about? We're talking about Lilith from Werewolf the Apocalypse. No. Vampire the Masquerade Lilith is who we're talking about. AKA the woman who might actually be Gaia incarnate. She could be Gaia.
Good
Like,
lord.
yeah, as in Gaia has two different faces, the planet body and then this body. And yeah, same thing. First wife of Adam, then became the wife of Cain. And then after, I don't know, two shitty husbands, she swore to never marry again and then started a secret werewolf, a vampire clan that would eventually finish Gehenna. Not start it, finish it. And all of her vampires are waiting in the wings to awaken during the day of Gehenna. And they'll start what Cain could never finish.
Ooh.
Oh, sorry, I got that the wrong way around. Finish what Cain couldn't finish. And
All right, cool.
she is also the woman who might have embraced Enoya. Just maybe.
Oh, you don't
Just
say.
maybe. Just maybe the gangrel antediluvian was sired by Lilith.
Oh, they're gonna have a howling good time.
And everything else to say, go after Zimichi. Do not go after our werewolf. Do not pursue the werewolf.
The werewolf will come to you either to try and kill you or if it's a Shadow Lord, negotiate.
Quickly drive it insane in the fun way, not in the scary way.
Yes. Anyway, mages.
The wizard.
Madness and magic go hand in hand, but unfortunately most mages are sane, and, you know, they wonder why they aren't getting anywhere.
You're describing marauders.
You know, pranking them has a lot of payoff because they have so very far to fall and so much to gain if they cross over into the lonely realms of madness. But then they can't take a joke and lash out of the least bit of mischief, and they want Malkavian blood, but they don't seem to realize what that all entails.
Uh-oh.
They look at the mages and say, reality is immutable. You're trying to change reality. We don't really consider ourselves to be religious, but we consider it to be a sin with you trying to do that. A mage gets no sympathy whatsoever from the Malkavians.
Even when Shadow Wizard Money Gang is playing in the background?
Exactly. No mages are good people. There's no such thing as a good fella.
Only
Oh.
a smart fella. I mean, fart smella. Smart fella, fart smella. That's how it goes.
That's what it is.
Bitches think they the shit, but they ain't even the fart.
This podcast really makes you feel like an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm
Thank
gonna
you, Victor.
shoehorn it in.
It's one of the
Yeah, you're
best
very much
lines I
welcome,
ever heard.
I actually got it from a meme where it's like 3D Mario, more so from the 64 era.
Yep.
Where like he has a giant comically large joint and he has his hand, like his fist to his hips, you know, saying that, and I'm like, man, that is funny.
That's great.
I gotta find that meme.
Please. And then, very short thing about
Fairies.
fairies. They're best friends. Get to know them better. They're friends.
And,
Aw.
and in second edition, they say they've gone somewhere we cannot follow.
You're dreaming.
Yep. Exactly. Now, there is a lore character amongst the Malkavians that actually was in the pocket of the Unseelie Court for several years, spreading chaos and madness in the name of the Unseelie Court to generate glamour for them.
Would that be Freddy Krueger?
Yeah, I guess it could be.
Freddy Krueger
also have-
Malkavian would make sense.
You also have ghosts where they say, yeah, they exist. I mean, of course they exist. We have aspects so we can see the ghost. It exists. And next up, hunters. They're excited for Gehenna. They're not happy about the existence of the imbued. They're not happy that any human can rise up and all of a sudden become a challenge for a vampire to fight. And on top of that, the imbued are winning. For a faction that's appeared that recently, they're doing that well. Not a good sign.
That's what happens when you literally have the powers of God on your side.
I have the power of God.
Basically.
Oh,
This
no.
is why I
Oh,
like playing cleric in
bullshit.
5e.
Fuck off. I got the power of God and anime on my side.
See,
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
see,
Zach, Victor, do you have any ideas or any thoughts of the Malkavians that we haven't discussed yet?
Oh boy, I've written down a crap ton of notes. Let's see here. So, I guess a little tidbit of information if you want to use as a storyteller listening. I kind of thought of this non-canon idea where it's like, okay, depending on the stage of madness that you're on as a Malkavian, maybe there's like an interesting idea that you just saw the top head of a Malkavian's brain, pop it open, pull out the brain, and then you realize it's a fucking Rubik's Cube and not a brain.
What?
You know? Yeah, so like think of it. Depending on the stage of madness they're on, their brain like significantly physiologically alters or something like that. That doesn't even resemble a brain, you know? How fucking
Right.
weird and cool would that be?
I mean, that makes sense given like given the state of Malkavians in general, with actually being able to go through the Great Prank after all those years, and then demontation returns. That'd be kind of interesting to see. Like, I feel like that'd be something a certain group of mages would do, like the Sons of Ether. They would just have a Malkavian's brain in a jar and watch it change and mutate over time.
Ooh.
Well, we will use this to make the next Frankenstein.
Yeah, basically.
Oh shit.
What?
Oh,
can
man,
also-
that would be cool.
See, thinking about the Frankenstein Malkavian.
Yeah, that just sounds hella cool, dude.
That'd be hella cool.
sounds like
Except the
a-
only issue is that once you'd put the Malkavian's mind into another body, then the head just decides to sink in on itself like this.
Yes. There you go. Are you a stupid? Are you a dummy? Are you a dumb?
Man, that okay, Mr. Depp. Now I'm thinking about the scene from Full Metal Jackie. You think this is funny? I forgot how the
Do you
rest
think
of
I'm
it
cute? Do you
goes,
think
dang
I'm
it.
funny?
No, sir. This is a war face. Show me your war face. You don't scare me. Try again later.
I fucking love that movie so much. I have it on DVD.
Man, I didn't even watch like the ending of the movie. I only just know that scene because how funny it is.
I've watched it through a number of times. It is a genuinely fantastic movie, beginning to, and I know everybody like stops after Private Pyle shoots Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, but honestly, like
Yeah.
the scenes in Vietnam are more telling of the actual theme of the movie itself, rather
Yeah.
than the beginning. You know, establishes the theme of using bullying and hazing as a measure of conformity amongst the U.S. Army in general. But then you have Joker, and then you have Animal Mother. Ryan and John, you've both watched Full Metal Jacket beginning
Yes.
to end, though, right?
Yes.
I have not.
Okay. Well, in the end, they're like put up against a VC sniper, and they manage to sneak around into the building where she's hidden, and they shoot her. But she's laying there on the ground dying. All the Marines are gathered around, and all the rest of the Marines are celebrating. Joker's standing there with a gun in his hand as she's begging him to kill her. And earlier in that scene, Joker's friend from Basic, Cowboy, had been shot by her, as well as two of their other guys, Doc J and 8-Ball. So he's standing there with a gun in his hand, and Animal Mother is, just egging on Joker to shoot her. And he finally eventually does. And the rest of the guys comment far out. And I had this argument with a friend. A friend of mine said that he thought Joker was the psychopath, but I watched the movie again, and I realized that wasn't the case at all. Joker was quite... It was told earlier in the movie when Joker and Animal Mother were doing their back and forth exchange, and then Animal Mother goes, "You talk the talk, do you walk the walk?" And it turns out Joker actually didn't. Joker was all talk. Joker was the funny kid that used his humor and all of his cynicism to fit in with the cool kids crowd. And then, and then it was like when a group of boys find like a wounded animal and start like messing with it and they dare the one kid who hasn't proven himself to the group to kill it, to show, that he's in with the group. And he has to, like, swallow every ounce of empathy that he has left and go through with it just to prove that he's one of the crowd. And that's what I got from the movie. It's like, it's very built into us to want to fit into a group.
It's the theme of losing yourself to a system you don't want to be a part of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Complicity and violence through intimidation and a sense of belonging. But
That's why I
anyway,
choose
sorry,
not
I
to belong
got
to any of them.
I got way off topic there. But anyway,
Oh no, I think it's on subject.
Yeah.
Because Malkavians are kind of about like a deep, dark over-exaggeration of the human condition, specifically psychology. It makes perfect sense with the episode, in my opinion.
And
Well, thank you.
losing yourself to a system that you didn't ask to be a part of.
well, I mean, yeah, they do. Well, they keep being asked to be a part of it. If you're talking about the Camarilla, but when it comes to vampire society as a whole, it's incredibly difficult for a Malkavian because, they suffer so much and they really have no way to cure their affliction. But they realize they need other vampires or else they're going to be left out to dry. So they have to find a way to be useful to the other vampires. And they use their aspects to do so as best as they can, despite, their penchant for causing problems just because they think it's funny.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
But at the same time, the Nosferatu at least have community to lean back on. The Malkavians don't have that. Because the Malkavians don't trust each other sometimes. Where, story I can tell from my prison friend, he had a guy that he knew while he was in prison, that he was having this like completely normal conversation with. The next day, he goes into the bathroom, takes a shit in the toilet, pulls it out with his bare hands, and writes the word shit on the wall with his shit, and then proceeds to throw it at an inmate, and then gets into a 4-man brawl after doing that.
Didn't that
It's like,
happen in the first scene of Manhunt?
I think so too, but yeah, with that level of insanity, it's like a switch flips sometimes. Where the Malkavian, it feels like you're talking to a completely different person sometimes.
That's like some G.G. Allen shit right there. If he would have taken that act on the road, he'd be a millionaire.
Same thing where it was another guy that was talking. He was talking to where he was just talking about football with them, and then the next hour he's trying to kick down the door of his cell, begging for pain pills because his back is hurting, while also shouting death threats in the middle of his screams.
Come to
So,
think of it,
man.
do you think that G.G. Allen was a Malkavian?
it could be where
Another one.
it was
Not DJ Khaled,
It-
G.G. Allen.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's
the
okay.
DJ Khaled vampire.
He'd just be a Ventru.
I mean,
I agree with that
I mean-
100%.
He's a
with
curator
my-
for talent that's better than him.
Yes.
with my character, I kind of thought of the scenario of like, okay, Rick Moranis that turns into who's the dude who plays the Headless Horseman in the Tim Burton Sleepy Hollow? Fuck.
I can't.
I
Trying
know
to-
the face you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh man, what was it?
Christopher Walken.
I got on. Yeah, Christopher Walken.
Yes.
Basically that's what I kind of thought, with my character, but I don't know. I might be accidentally making a fish milk. I don't know.
You won't know till
Time
you
will
try.
tell. Exactly. Yeah. I guess role playing advice, just try and use common sense, there's nothing wrong with making a character that's kind of funny, but don't make it their whole personality.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The way.
Because you're just gonna
Go ahead.
because you're just gonna end up pissing off everyone else, and especially your storyteller. Oh man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If,
The
if
way-
you don't take the game seriously.
The way I
Yeah.
have it figured for a Malkavian, I like to think of the guitarist of the band Primus, the alt-rock band Primus. It's known for its intense rhythm and Les Claypool's just insane bass work. But the most interesting aspect of that band is their guitarist. Now, how the guitarist of
of Primus plays his notes, you'll notice that it doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the song. That's kind of how you have to play a Malkavian. How he describes his playing style is he finds the notes that Les is playing and then plays none of them. That is what you have to do as a Malkavian. You have to find the most straightforward, most logical explanation as to how to go about something, and then do everything you can to avoid it.
It's
Method
the
of
really fun thing.
madness.
Yeah, and no two Malkavians going to play out the same way. Considering, now, don't go for a depressed Malkavian. Don't go for an anxious Malkavian. That is a mental illness, but it's not the kind of illness that we're talking about.
We're talking about reality is actively warping around you, and you're uncertain of what is and is not true at all times.
We're talking about you being so far down you can't see up.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about. And with the Malkavian, I really want to see more of the personal horror invoked with it. Where, yeah, a lot of people that you kind of do have like to be there with the mental illnesses, but with the advancement of TikTok, there is this entire rabbit hole on TikTok of the dementia TikToks, where it's exploitative and it disgusts me, but it's people filming their relatives that have dementia and describing what they're seeing and what they're doing day to day. And take that and emphasize more of like a human element to it. Don't do it for exploitation reasons, but it's a good reference point. But, you know, create a character that's got sympathy to it. It's pain to be a Malkavian. Some days it's much harder than others. And there are going to be many days as a Malkavian where you're going to have the same kind of conclusion that Anatoly did. You're going to think, can Zimichi appear beneath me so I can just go ahead and jump into him because I can't stand facing the next day? It's a lot like that with the Malkavian sometimes. You have incredible power. Everybody wants to come to you, but you're suffering. And your suffering is your misery enough to justify your own existence. You're helping people. Is your pain enough to bear so you can help other people still?
Yep.
And behold, another core theme of Vampire the Masquerade.
Yep.
Is your pain enough to bear? And much like the cross on this character's shirt on the front cover, as a Malkavian, it is your cross to bear.
Cross you didn't
Amen.
ask for, but you've been stuck with.
So, I believe that tears it for the episode, Malkavian.
Macing splats. Macing splats.
Oh yeah, we forgot to do that.
You almost skipped it. Werewolves. Take a wild guess.
I mean, we already said that the Shadow Lords were the people that they talked to.
The BFFs.
Yes.
But also think about the Silver Fangs. Imagine a conversation between those two.
it would just be insanity.
I'm sorry your parents are brother and sister and that you are a fat inbred sack of shit. Now pay me, you idiot.
Sweet home in Alabama.
I don't think
Actually,
Appalachia
fun
goes
fact.
down that far. Almost heaven, West
heard-
Virginia.
I heard that, Alabama, historically speaking, is a state with the most incest, but I heard modern day now it's actually Florida, but I might be wrong.
That's kind of
thanks to
funny.
demographics. Yeah.
I'm not surprised, unfortunately.
I mean, that's the same time as saying, with Christianity being the most persecuted religion, it's because it's also the most numerous. See? Yeah, I'm pulling up states most interested in incest. I'm getting South Carolina, West Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee, Alabama, Arkansas, Nebraska, New Mexico, and Maine.
Oh my god.
Maine?
Oh,
Really?
no. Lock your doors, Ryan.
I
Oh
always do.
man.
But to
Do
be
not
fair,
Thanks for
go-
coming for you.
Do not go
To
to
be fair.
Thanksgiving dinner, Ryan.
that's if they invite me.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Johnny Sins moment.
Bro, we didn't have to cook Ryan on accident like that. That was just mean, bro. That was just mean.
That was cruel and unusual.
Johnny going through his own Malkavian arc right now.
Yeah,
Right.
pretty much, dude.
Or sorry, Ryan.
It's all good.
Sorry.
Nah, we're all friends here, you know.
We were
like,
talking
just
about
like
mixing
how fucking
splats.
Nobody's safe.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
And in terms
We're
of,
talking about mixing
in terms, can't get up right then.
Okay, so
In terms of the other werewolf clans, I'm trying to think. Children of Gaia. Now, actually, Children of Gaia and Stargazers, the two werewolf clans that are known for taking bad ideas and running with them.
Yep.
Guess where they're getting the bad ideas from? How about that Malkavian they met on the street corner and decided that they were going to keep alive instead of killing?
well, I mean, the children of Gaia are empathetic enough to think that it's just a crazy person, but then again, they could probably smell the decay on him.
Exactly, like second edition
yeah.
Children of Gaia, they were saying if you find a werewolf and if you find a vampire and it's nice, pick it up and take it back to the cairn with you.
I beg your pardon. What?
Just go ahead and do that. Just
No.
adopt the vampire. Just do it.
You're gonna fucking
just
die.
It's gonna be hissing all angry at you.
Yeah, it's like having a fucking rabid possum in a cage. It's like, Mom, can I keep it?
No.
You go over, you take it back to the cairn, you take a stake in its heart, you cut off all 4 of its limbs, then you hang it on the wall.
Then
And
it's a
hold it to your
trophy.
new pet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like that robot fish that you push the button on, you know, and it like sings a little song while jerking its head to the side.
See, I figured it'd be like that scene from Meet the Medic in TF2 where you just have the Malkavian's head in a fridge and he just open it up and goes, kill me later.
Or just says the
And-
fitness gram pacer test.
There's one other werewolf clan I can think that would really want to talk to a Malkavian, and that would be the Octena.
Yeah,
Where-
that makes a good bit of sense. I mean, like they're all about their mysteries, but I don't know what the Malkavian could tell them when it comes
Get
to
them
their.
into direct. Get them a phone call with Malkav. See what they want to find out.
It's kind of a shame we didn't have an Octena in our live play.
Well, we will in Russia.
Yeah, that's
Yes, we
true.
will.
We're gonna have a weird squad in Russia.
We got
I'm gonna make that
three-
character sheet at some point.
3
I would low-key
African
wanna-
mercenaries.
I would low key want to play a Stargazer if I ever joined. Stargazer Exorcist.
An evil Stargazer.
Ooh. I gotta figure that out.
That's gonna be
No,
fucking
the-
hard.
The Ouroborans, dude.
Ouroborans.
The Ouroborans.
Oh, yeah.
At this
they all
time of
about,
the
like,
year,
freeing
this
the
part of the
worm?
country localized entirely within your kitchen.
No,
Alright.
the Ouroborans, the Stargazers that took the worm as their totem.
Oh.
The worm. Not even the BSDs do that.
Nope.
Damn.
I
crazy
forgot about
bastards.
them.
Bro, those bros took Jungian psychology of embracing the shadow a little too far.
I think they did.
They're idiots.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm,
So-
I'm sure it'll be fine, guys. It's just the worm.
You know, it's the natural force of death. It's a part of life.
Yeah.
It's just the devil. Don't worry about it.
It's like getting mad at the Grim Reaper for bringing people to the afterlife.
The Satan.
Yeah.
Anyway. So,
Mages.
yes. They said
See,
that mages are fun to prank, but will go fucking ballistic if you fuck with them.
See, well, I'm pretty sure that 50% of Marauders were created by Malkavians.
Yes.
Yep, you're a perfectly fine functioning mage, and then you talk to a Malkavian. And thanks to the nature of paradox, you can't undo yourself, and now you're stuck as a Marauder.
Speaking of that, Malkavian ghouls are actually pretty dangerous because the blood, you know, has the insanity in it. Unless if you chose the merit benevolent blood, you're gonna go
Yes.
crazy as a ghoul, so it makes perfect sense.
And that happens to Heather when you ghoul her as a Malkavian in Bloodlines, where it permanently changes her dialogue, and you can no longer tell what the fuck she's talking about.
Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O.
Yeah, a little bit of an issue.
Let's see.
Skill
And then
issue.
And then the fun part about the wizards, I don't see them siding with any tradition. I don't see them siding with any tradition whatsoever. Even the dream speakers, who are universally good, so far as I know, and even the Cult of Ecstasy that would have the drugs that they would need to function, even a Celestial Chorus that knows the divine secrets that they would like to hear, even the Hermetics and all the knowledge they have about the worm and spiritualism and the occult, they wouldn't side with any of them. Because, once again, this is reality. You don't mess with reality. I mean, dementation is their unique power, but it's them altering your perception of reality, not reality itself. That's a weird, honorable line that the Malkavians don't want to cross.
Yep.
And in terms of mages, the only ones I can see them siding with are, ironically enough, the Technocratic Union.
Why?
Because they hate reality deviance. That's their thing. They want to purge the traditions. They want to keep the world straight-laced and banal. And with Malkav's philosophy of truth is observed in reality, not from within, that sides with his core personality as to what the truth is.
I mean, maybe with Malkav, but not as the Malkavians as a whole. Their whole thing is about, like, they talked about this whole point when they were talking about the Ventru, you know, how straight-laced they were. You know,
Yes.
They're tied too tight. You know, they don't want constipated spirits. They want to see, they don't want the vulture conformity. And that's what the technocracy is all about.
Would you call the inventions of the progenitors and Iteration X boring?
I want to say they're boring.
Would you like to live in the world of Deus Ex and be a Deus Ex?
I mean,
But
you know,
you
I could be CJ Denton.
You
bomb.
get to be Alex Princeton. Where
I didn't ask for that.
That's the kind of future that the Malkavians want to see. They want to see human advancement. Same
Do
with
they?
they're very weavery. Come to think of it.
It's kind of weird
Yeah,
to
it's
think
kind of
about.
like a transhumanism kind of thing going on.
They've already got the transhuman brain. Once you understand that the schizophrenic visions are your friends, you've ascended, so to speak.
Cyberpunk werewolf
Yeah.
when?
Where I think they would have issues with the New World Order, given how incredibly similar they are to the Ventru, except they have accomplishments to their name. So
Ew.
the
Werewolf
NWO,
2077.
no. The Syndicate. The Syndicate are the guys that want to make money off of everything, and they want to go to a paperless currency and have everything run off of crypto. I don't
Us.
know. I don't know with the Syndicate.
Probably not. I don't think the
then
Malkavians
the
have
Void-
much use for money.
And then the Void Engineers want to go to space. Who wouldn't want to do that? I mean,
Probably a
yay,
Malkavian
nay,
with a debilitating mental disorder.
sign the Malkavians up for that. They want to go to Mars.
Can they live on
Yeah,
Mars?
maybe there's
You could send the Malkavians to Mars and have them find the Martians and drain their blood. There it
Yeah.
is. You don't have to worry about them becoming irradiated because, well, they're already dead. They're not going to die of the radiation as long as they stay out of the line of sight of the sun, and they're out, say, Iteration X provided suits that block out the sun. Then they should be fine. And
Yeah,
there it is.
they might as well play Magic the Gathering with the Martians or something.
Yeah, but there's
You
no
also
blood on Mars.
And then you can send them off to Venus, which is constantly covered in green clouds.
It's like that Dead
Yeah.
Kennedy song, One Way Ticket to Pluto.
Well, we know why women want to go to Venus, if you catch what I'm throwing.
Born under Venus, you got a penis.
Men go to Jupiter to get more stupider, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, no, we're not finishing a joke.
I
Penis.
know. Ooh, he said it. Ooh.
God damn
You
it.
also said the word penis in the crowd elevator.
I hate you
Oh my
guys.
god. Today we'll be talking about the penis. Do
We're
you
talking about
find
the
it amusing, butthead, that
we can
we're
talk
be
about the
talking about the penis? Yeah.
The ghost penis with the wraith.
Oh my good lord.
In ter- Wraith. The,
All right.
in terms of the legions, not going off of the houses because the houses don't really mean anything in Wraith. The Iron Legion, I don't see them having anything in common with. Same with the Grim Legion, the Skeletal Legion, or the Legion of Paupers or the Inward Legion. I do see them having a ton in common with the Silent Legion and the Penitent Legion, especially the Penitent Legion. The Penitent Legion are people that died from circumstances related to their mental illnesses.
Oh yeah, they go hand in hand.
And as a member of the Penitent Legion, what's always been the point to me about them is that in death, you thought you could escape your baggage with your mental illness. It follows you into death. And now you realize that the one and only person you can rely on to get over that issue is yourself. And then you have to try your best to overcome, well, you and your own shortcomings. And that's what makes the Penitent Legion super interesting to me. And, you know, it kind of gives like a ray of hope to it, where like you yourself, without the need of, say, a psychiatrist or medication, can overcome what's wrong with you mentally. And yeah, that's an uplifting message that I want to hear. And the thing is, how many members of the Penitent Legion were created by Malkavians inadvertently?
That would actually be like an interesting revenge story for Wraith.
Yeah, how many poor, unfortunate souls have been sent to the Penitent Legion because of the Malkavians? And same with the other Legion, the Silent Legion, who are, of course, the wraiths that formed from people that committed suicide. How many of those were caused by Malkavians? Exactly. So, you've got two different revenge plots that can happen involving those two legions and the Malkavians.
That would be really interesting to see.
Next up, the fairies. Name any changeling. It will work.
Red caps.
Just any changeling. Any changeling has something in common with Malkavian.
Those Tim Burton ones, or whatever the heck they're called.
The Slua.
The Slua. Yeah,
Slua.
the Goths.
Yeah, but behold, if you get a Malkavian into deep dreaming, the Slua just appear as the ring wraiths from Lord of the Rings.
Honestly.
Same.
You just kind of teleport behind him.
Yeah.
Hey, did you come to play with my spiders?
So you give us
Yeah,
the ring.
and then Tarvok's gonna be all like, yeah, you know, and he's gonna like totally just be chilling with
Follow
them and
me.
shit, being like, hey, yo, I got a bowl of hash, I got some opium, let's get fucked up together, my guy.
Got the corn hash.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'd be a good slew. I'm
How'd you
lazy
feel it?
as shit.
hell yeah.
So you gotta go into that stoner mentality.
I mean, I already
Yeah.
listened to a lot of stoner rock. I like fucking Caius, Queens of the Stone Age, Clutch is my favorite band.
Just let's see.
Like
And
Fu Manchu.
we've already talked about Hunter. Demon the Fallen.
Ooh,
Hmm.
I'm glad you mentioned this one.
So, very obvious answer, the Cryptics. Very obvious. Very obvious. Because a Malkavian might already know the cosmic secrets that the Cryptics are looking for. They just don't know how to express it, or they just don't understand what they're saying. Behold, a Cryptic is going to want to have a Malkavian as one of their followers to try to extract information from them. Alternatively, a Faustian. If a Malkavian is dealing with too much at once, can't fully make sense of themselves, a Faustian can approach them and give them the offer, I can fix your mind if you sign your soul over to me. Or what can substitute for a soul for a vampire at the very least. Next up, the Reconcilers.
Before you, yeah.
I don't know about this one. I mean, there are good Malkavians out there, but I don't really see them getting in bed with the redeemed army of angels. I don't.
Probably
I'm
not.
struggling to see.
No.
I'm struggling to piece that together.
But
The
Malkav himself,
Luciferians.
maybe. Probably not.
Probably not the Luciferians.
Well, no, for Luciferians, for Malkav himself, maybe on the Luciferians. But like you said, they like to see human advancement. But, I don't know.
Exactly.
The Malkavians are kind of a mess of contradictions here because, like, they don't like the confines of reality because they know that it doesn't exist to them. But then again, truth is observable from around them. So the control freaks that are the Luciferians would like that truth to be the constant in all of human affairs. So I guess that's a maybe on Luciferians.
But then again, I'm quoting Jordan Peterson when I say this. Lucifer is the intellect that falls in love with itself. Malkav at least knows when he's wrong. Lucifer doesn't. So if you were to get the two in the room to talk with each other, could Malkav be the guy that convinces Lucifer that he's going about this all the wrong way?
He might be able to, but that takes a lot.
Exactly.
But then again,
I mean,
time
dude-
is something Malkav
Dude fell
has.
from heaven. Given that the dude can control his own quantum state, he could survive the entirety of, say, the Rapture and Demon of the Fallen, and then reincarnate in Chronicles of Darkness, or Exalted if you want to play Exalted.
Bro, that's just the ending of part 6 of JoJo with Made in Heaven or something.
Exactly, like Rohan Kishibe survives the time stop by being too focused on his manga.
That'd be funny as hell.
And lastly, you got the Ravengers. Yes, let's go ahead. Let's get in bed with the Ravengers. I mean, what could be wrong? I'm a Malkavian. I see nothing wrong with siding with these guys.
Madness meets madness.
See, Ball, we can just side with the genocidal demon from hell. Nothing wrong is going to happen with this.
What could possibly go wrong?
We're gonna try to out Madden each other, like that one what was it? There was that one Pixar short about like the two violinists that are trying to like get the coin from the girl or something like
I
that.
remember that.
About the band.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
she just throws it up in the fountain instead.
Yep.
Yes. Is that it? Or Behold, just go ahead, just make the deal with Belial today. Nothing wrong is going to happen with you.
Only for $5.99 plus your soul and shipping and handling.
It was at this
Yes.
moment he knew he fucked up.
You fucked up.
It ships from somewhere else, and I've been handling it.
Yes.
And now we can conclude the episode on the Malkavians.
Yeah, it's been a minute since we actually covered a full vampire clan, so...
It's also now that we realize that Kyle hasn't been recording any of this, he's just been demented the entire time.
Yep, so I'm going to go upload like a 2-minute file with just audio of
It's
me
gonna be
babbling into a
up-
microphone for 2.5 minutes on
A
YouTube.
video of you eating the Captain Crunch.
I actually have never had Captain Crunch before.
You've just been sitting in your room eating cereal this entire time.
Hey, look, just to search Tankian once put it, eating seeds is a pastime activity.
It's like that time you took me to Wawa and there was an empty parking lot.
Yeah, it was.
I feel-
He scraped a enchilada a quesadilla out from a dumpster, and we went back to my place and we were eating it. And he said, "Did that place exist?" I was like, "I don't know."
I told you I've been
Insert
poverty
the
maxing.
caretaker.
Yeah, the caretaker's theme starts
everywhere at
playing.
End of time.
I feel like I should have switched my mic halfway through, and you guys have been like, "Hey, what happened to your new mic?" And I'm like, "What new mic, guys?"
I
It's like
just
when you
shoved
down
up
the
my-
bit rate and it sounds like you're playing Xbox Live 2007.
Here, let me turn the gain all the way down.
Oh god.
Give us your best
32
Wings of
bit.
Redemption impression.
12-bit.
I'm done playing League of Legends.
You
There
lost
it is.
69,000 pounds after you
Give
deleted
us-
League of
I
Legends.
can't take this shit no more.
Give us your best Nintendo shit cube impression.
Nintendo shit cube.
That's all I can do.
Piece of shit!
Maybe I was the
I
one
tried
that's
this
demented all along.
calypso,
I don't know.
and it's fucking mangy.
It's
That's-
I have no idea what's going on.
We are doing all kinds of Malkavian trickeries. What's going on?
You're demented.
Yes.
That's what I was saying. Maybe I was demented all along.
Should I just
Man,
stop the video
There it
then?
is. Yep, go ahead. Stop watching this. Just go home, do something else.
Have a
Take
good
your
night,
take your
guys.
lithium after this episode. You're probably going to need it.
Suck the air right off the tire of
then
a
the
Tesla.
father came home and
I'm
sat
for
down
some
with her and said,
antipsychotics.
"Well, where's my southern?" The mother served up a great dish of black puddings. The Marchland wept and could not have left off the